welcome to America's Day at the Races on MSG Plus. Great to have you with us on a beautiful Friday afternoon as we get set for a monster Super Saturday with huge implications for Breeders' Cup weekend. Greg Wolf alongside Hall of Fame jockey and 1992 Jockey Club Gold Cup winner Gary Stevens, four-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca. Our feature race coming up this afternoon. We'll talk about all the big races on Saturday as well. But a sprint on the turf and Wesley Ward's mentality. It's been a horse for course here.
Yeah, she's been a horse for course, and she's a filly that tries every time. She's 3 for 5 here at Belmont Park, but she's facing a new opponent today that she hasn't faced, Albertville. Not very many have faced her because she's only run here one time for Christophe Clement. But back to mentality, she puts her heart and soul into every race that she runs. And here she is at Saratoga. I believe this is her last out right here. And comes down and finishes a good third. But look at the heart this filly shows.
Yeah, and she's a horse, Gary, that you know, you're so deeply entwined into the Wesley barn. You rode for Wesley, you have a good beat on his barn. She's the kind of filly that sort of wants the front end. She got put behind the 8 ball. I actually like the way she closed that race. She's the one to beat, but I think Gary's got her right with Albertville, the 4. Second time here in the country, second time sprinting. Should be a little bit better, but going to have to improve.
Yeah, bled in that last race, so she got some time. She's going to be tough back. Track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone, fast and firm as you saw. And here's what we have coming up for you today. The late pick 5 at Belmont Park, races 4 through 8. And Churchill Downs, we're going to bring you their entire final 6 on the card. They are fast and firm in Louisville as well. Get signed up, started, play along with all the races that we show you each and every day with NYRA Bets. Bet $200, you get a $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code LIVE and sign up at any track, anywhere, anytime with NYRABets.com. All right, our first leg of this late pick 5 here coming up, and it's a mile on the turf. New York breds, maiden special weight guys, and more glitter right now. Second time out, Gary, for Todd Pletcher, was favored in the debut at Saratoga on dirt. Now stretching out to turf.
Yeah, he's by more than ready, and he gets turf runners. And this horse, he was played hard last time, went off at a 5-2, and ran a decent race, but I think he's going to perform a lot better on the turf today. Another horse in here that's trying turf for the first time for Barkley Tag, getting some action at 5-2 right now. And he's a horse that I like. I watched his replay. He looks like he's got turf action, big, kind of long-strided horse. And I think the mile distance going from 7 furlongs the first time on the dirt at Saratoga, this race could be his day.
Want to remind everyone, get involved without risking any of your own money, but compete for real prizes with the Showdown contest. It is free online, and again, you're competing for prizes like a ticket package to next year's Belmont Stakes. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. It involves these final 5 races on the card. With more on this 4th, let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
3-2 favoritism on a horse trying something new for the first time, and that is more glitter, as she will look to be a post-time favorite once again in her career, but this time probably on what is her preferred surface. As I noted in my notes, redundancy there, that she looked more like a turf horse, and she's bred to be. She's by more than ready. She's out of a mare that threw a really nice turf runner by the name My Cara Mia. Now, none of the other siblings necessarily won on the turf, but they ran well and effective enough on it, so there's enough pedigree for me. The problem is that she's just not that impressive looking. Yes, she is owned by Mike Rapoli, our leading owner. She's trained by Todd Pletcher, and she gets Javier Castellano in the irons, but I just prefer others a bit more physically. That might offer a little bit more value. As number 4 is Kefaliani, who is a big price in here. She has every right to be, but she looks like a turf horse. I mean, through and through. She adds a shortcut blinker, a little bit green still back here at Belmont, but I thought she could improve. On the turf, number 6 is Astoria Kitten. She looked to be the morning line favorite. We'll see where odds end up, but she's 3-1 right now. She got a little reluctant and green when Kendrick grabbed her when she broke alertly. Danny Gargan sends her out now in a ring bit this time around and adds blinkers. Again, she was pretty wound up throughout her entire time, paddock and post parade. As number 8, Adriatic Holiday, she's my pick in here. She just looks like a turf horse through and through. As Gary was mentioning, she's this big, long-legged filly. I really like what I'm seeing from her. In her second start, Cheater Cup blinkers going on, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Here's the start of the late pick 5. Larry Collmus, take it away.
They're all in line. They're off. Courageous Girl stumbled coming out of there. Astoria Kitten out for the lead with Tornado crossing away, running in second position. Then Courageous Girl, more glitter going up in between horses. Topaz Bride is there on the inside, along with Kefaliani. And then it's back to Beyond Brown. And the trailer up the backstretch is Adriatic Holiday. So it is Astoria Kitten up top as the field heads up the backstretch. In front by a length and a half. Tornado crossing on the outside second. Topaz Bride third on the inside. The opening quarter mile was 22.9 seconds and moving right along. Courageous Girl is fourth and 4 lengths off the lead. Then Kefaliani, more glitter on the inside, was bottled up in behind, 7 lengths to make up. Adriatic Holiday is next and Beyond Brown. So the racing for the far turn, Astoria Kitten continues to set this pace, and it's an honest one of 46.46 half mile. And here comes Tornado crossing, getting closer on the outside, now cutting the gap to a half a length on the far turn. Topaz Bride is third down toward the rail, then Courageous Girl, Kefaliani, and more glitter, who's saving all the ground, and now up into fourth as they round the turn. Right behind her, Beyond Brown gets going too, now with 5 lengths to make up as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Astoria Kitten, 3/4, 110.99. Put some daylight in front of the field here, opening up 2.5. And then it's Topaz Bride, and on the inside comes More Glitter, who's made her way up into second now with an inside run. But it's Astoria Kitten, and she's got a 5-length lead over More Glitter. As they come to the wire, Astoria Kitten was the queen today. Won it by 4 lengths over More Glitter, and then it was Topaz Bride and Beyond Brown.
Well, Astoria Kitten bet down to even money favoritism in her debut at Saratoga. Goes off today at 3-1, and we may have Stewards taking a look at your second place finish in here. More Glitter, who cut off the 3-horse Beyond Brown, who just missed third.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this 3-horse Beyond Brown, if you get a chance, folks, go back and watch this whole race, because she was uncontrollable early on and was going to be at least second in here if she don't get shut off mid-stretch. But the addition of blinkers today on Astoria Kitten, second time out, goes to a second race on the turf going long. Yeah.
And right there you see the 2 coming in and taking away the space on the rail from the 3 Beyond Brown. So that's going to be looked at, no question.
Yeah, and what the stewards are going to say, okay, did it cost the 3 a placing for third? And is she making up ground on the 1 Topaz Bride here towards the end? And she is. She made up a good length. And Gary made a great point, because if you looked at Beyond Brown's ears, they were dead straight up. She was ready to run. Was she gonna get to the winner there? You see on the rail again. We have to see the head on, but her ears were straight up. She was ready to run, and it did cost her a placing. We have to see the head on to see if she had to back out of there or not.
3-1 on Astoria Kitten. She is not involved in this, but certainly her second place finisher is. Let's take a look here at the head on, and you're looking at that orange cap for Polly Silks. Cutting off the ground of that pink cap on the rail and the green silks. There it is.
What do you got,
and that pressure came from those white silks when the incident initially happened. But the inquiry sign did just go up on the board from the stewards. It's a stewards inquiry that was called. So he definitely got shut off. But I don't know if it was the 2-horse that caused the incident. The 1-horse, he was definitely going to beat. The 3-horse was going to beat the 1-horse, definitely. But I'm just wondering if that pressure that came on the 3-horse Beyond Brown was from a different horse than what we were looking at.
I'm with Gary. It wasn't as cut as dry.
What if we could see it again?
I mean? It wasn't as cut and dry as we thought it was on the pan, because I think Javier really didn't see him coming. And watch, Javier goes right-handed and naturally just comes over. But Eric, I don't know if he saw really Eric there, like intentionally took the spot. I don't know.
But it's our job to know.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
They're there.
I get that.
You always assume that there is somebody there, and he wasn't clear when he came over. But I think the 1 put the pressure on the 2-horse.
Yeah. And as you see it again, it does look like Saez comes in on the 2 a bit. So a lot to unpack here in this race.
If that's the case, if the 1 caused the incident, not the 2, then they've got to take the 1 horse down. definitely. It was a chain reaction.
But if the 2 still was taken away, so the 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, but they can't
both.
take the 2 down when the pressure came from the outside. There was nothing Javier could do about it when the 1 came over. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was chain reaction, but it was of no fault of the 2. At least that's what I would tell the stewards if I was on the phone.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And that's why Bob Baffert says the jockey should be allowed to talk on the telephone.
Yeah, and we talked to, I want your opinion on this because I talked to Richard Migliore. He says that if there's no use, you guys should be on the phone. What do you think?
I don't think we should. Our jockeys should be allowed because, for one reason, some jockeys can talk a little bit better than others. It's a definite big advantage. And then there's a language barrier at times as well.
Yeah, true.
If you don't have a Spanish-speaking steward up in the room, then there's an interpreter, and sometimes interpretation is wrong.
Yeah,
well, it's key.
Yeah,
and,
wrong,
so
You're always going to try and make the case for yourself, aren't you?
yes.
So it would be like asking if there's pass interference if you
Right.
talk to a receiver and a
Yeah, of
DB.
course.
But we'll see what happens here. A lot going on in this race, and Javier Castellano making his case right now to the stewards upstairs. We'll be back. This outcoming question not involving your winner, though. Astoria Kitten gets the job done, 3-1. We'll check it at Churchill Downs when we come back. 4 minutes away from the 5th in Louisville next.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races here on MSG Plus, our show each and every day brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Little drama in our first live race of the day unofficially. 6-2-1-3. There has been a change made. The horse who caused that interference with Beyond Brown, the 3 horse, that was Javier Castellano on More Glitter. The 2, that horse has been taken down and moved out of the money here. So new order of finish, moved to 4th, I should say. 6-1-3-2.
Yeah, and I think what the steward's feeling there is that the 2, when he darted in that hole, he was not clear of the 3 horse Beyond Brown, and he didn't protect his fellow rider or horse and put them in jeopardy, cost him a position. Right call.
And it spices. I mean, look, with even money going out, you get 3-1, 12-1, 15-1. So if you have that try, you get paid.
Churchill Downs, we go to for a 6-furlong sprint coming up. 50,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime group.
Wow.
He's stylish. Florent Giroux, Phil D'Amato, shortening up in distance and goes turf to dirt here.
I'm going to say this right now. If you can come up with these pick 6 and this pick 5, the late pick 5, kudos to you. This is a monster card of Churchill. A tough card. Gary, I don't know where you land here. I did like the 9, the favorite, dropping in class with Tyler Bays. I do think the 10-2's got a little bit of a look, but these races are so wide open.
Look, I like the 10 horse dropping in class here. It's never been offered up for a tag, and for 50,000 a day for a barn that wins a lot of races in California.
Do you like who he ran second to try and break his maiden back in October 2017?
Yeah, just a horse named McKenzie, probably the best older horse in the country right now.
Yeah, going to be running this weekend. Back in action for Bob Baffert. Let's send it out to Travis Stone. Here's the call, 5th from Churchill Downs.
Waiting on Spyro Gyra. They're in the gate. And the rough. Grade 1, good start, far outside, right to the front. Yankee 7, Flashing Speed, Wild About Candy, Enzo Express down inside. 1 for Richie and Better Charge It up close 2. So they sort themselves out, and Enzo Express down inside on through for a narrow lead. Wild About Candy's right there running along second. Yankee 7 keeping pace in third. Better Charge It keyed up down inside. Moving up from fourth. Grade 1's back into fifth. 1 for Richie is 6. Creme de Cerise running along in 7th. He's stylish as 8th and wide onto the far turn. 8 lengths to make up from there. Spyro Gyra moves up into 9th. Passion Play back into 10th with Stay Happy. So the field rounds the far turn. 21 and 1 was the opening quarter mile. And Yankee 7 comes away with a narrow lead, but Grade 1 is looming on the outside. And Wild About Candy is also there. Enzo Express down inside. Better Charge It tries to find a seam. 1 for Richie switches to the far outside with Creme de Cerise. Anyone's race at the 8th pole. Better Charge It comes on through down inside at a big price. Better Charge It, another long shot in front. Grade 1 is second. Stay Happy dives down inside, but Better Charge It got the jump on them all. 34-1, the 3-length winner. Stay Happy up for second. Grade 1 was third, and Passion Play fourth.
Huge price here in the 5th at Churchill. Better Charge It, Donnie Von Hemel, Brian Hernandez Jr.
By the way, we were sitting in the office today. I'm talking to Gary Stevens. I said, Gary, I'm looking at this jockey colony at Churchill Downs. Who do you think is, a guy that, is a really good rider that you like, that, nobody would really think about? And you're like, Brian Hernandez by far. It's not even close. And $70 winner right here. And we talked about this next 6 races here, another 5 races after this. It's a difficult caller at Churchill.
Yeah, and Brian Hernandez, what I said is I think he's the best kept secret in American horse racing. He's a very smart rider, a tough rider when he needs to be, and a class act. And how this horse got in the winner's circle, broke its maiden for $30,000 last time out. After 11 lifetime starts, comes back an optional claimer. And today, optional claimer 25 non-winners. This was actually a big hike in class for this horse today off that race at Ellis Park last time. Donnie Van Hemel, 3 starters at the meet, 2 winners now. And Brian Hernandez having a good meet is also.
And your favorite, He's Stylish, nowhere in there. Finishes 1794. We'll give you those prices in a moment. Back to Belmont, change made. It was originally 6-2-1-3, 2 horse taken down, causing interference with the 3 horse Beyond Brown that we showed you down on the fence. So now New Order finished 6-1-3-2. Your winner, Astoria Kitten, even money favorite in the debut. You get a better price second time out in the win. That rarely happens.
Isn't it better to sometimes be at the funeral first, then the wedding? Sometimes we're usually at the wedding and then we're at the funeral when it comes to gambling. Even money first time out, and then you get almost 7-2 on this horse. Congratulations, Danny Gargan.
That didn't feel good. You get that 3-1.
Right?
After even money in a defeat first time out if you kept the faith in Astoria Kitten. Shug McGahee looking for number 4 in the Jockey Club Gold Cup with his Travers winner, Code of Honor. Is he up to the task of tackling older horses? We'll talk about Saturday's big race next.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. With Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, and star performers both at home and abroad, Warfront's success as an international super sire is unmatched. Recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach and Preakness Stakes hero War of Will. In the sales ring, his $2.4 million sale topper at Keeneland September was the highest price yearling sold in North America last year. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
You're always striving for quality, so that's what WinStar is about. You're supported by the stallion owner and the shareholders at WinStar to extend that success into the future. We all know what our expenses are going to be within reason during the year. We don't know what our income is going to be. I know the program's there, and it's definitely on my thought process. It's a very tangible benefit that definitely helps with our bottom line.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Easy Goer on the rail. Easy Goer gets the lead again by a length. Crypto clearance second by 8. Then Forever Silver and Assassin Mike. They pass the 8th pole. Easy Goer draws clear. Easy Goer has it by 3. Crypto clearance second. Easy Goer in front.
What a horse, Easy Goer, with a victory in that Jockey Club Gold Cup. And Shug McGahee will try and collect a 4th win in this race on Saturday with his very talented Travers winner, Code of Honor, as you look at his 3 prior wins in the race.
Yeah, and I love this colt. I think he's got a great chance of winning his 4th Jockey Club Gold Cup, and he's improving. He just keeps getting better, guys.
Yeah, here in the Travers, you can see Tacitus on the front end showed a lot more speed than we thought. Gary and I were just talking about who's going to go to the front of this race. That's the big quandary that everybody's talking about. But, you know, Tacitus is weird. He sort of waited on horses, then dug in, but Code of Honor just had too much going on, bumping going on in the middle of the stretch. But when Code of Honor sort of took off, it looked like Tacitus took off again. So I'm starting to worry a little bit Tacitus could be a herd type of horse. But when you look at this field, who wants the front end? Code of Honor doesn't. They took the blinkers off Vino Rosso. Gary made a great point. Olympic Village just could be a horse that could be somewhat in the way.
Let's hear from Shug McGahee on his Travers winner, Code of Honor.
I think he's done well. You know, he came out of the Travers well. He had a solid 1.25 mile race into him, so, you know, I didn't have to do a whole lot with him, but he's had 2, 3, 4 works here that were all satisfactory. Seems to be feeling good, looks good, and we'll see what happens. We're not going to take him out of his game plan. You know, obviously I'd hope that some speed develops, but, you know, if it doesn't, we won't be as far back if they're going slow. So, you know, I mean, that's why you got John Velasquez too. He knows this racetrack as well as better than anybody, and you know, he's been in these positions before. It kind of turns into a rider's race a little bit with it being this short of a field. So he's been in those positions before. So, you know, I want to just tell him, you know, let him run his race and he can take it from there.
We need to talk about that, Gary, because these compact fields, sometimes you do see a lot of traffic trouble. It does become a rider's race, and especially it could in this race with 2 connections, Belmont with Tacitus and Jimmy Durkins with Preservationists. The last couple of times we saw them race, they didn't want to be in the front.
Right.
They might have to be in front in this race. It's our ABR race of the week, by the way, as you saw there. So how do you see this playing out?
Look, Billy Mott said after the Travers that he was glad that Tacitus was more into the race and he doesn't want to take him out of his game. They put those blinkers on for a reason, and they did their job in the Travers. I just flat don't think he was good enough in the Travers. Code of Honor, he showed his athleticism in the race prior to the Travers right here in the Dwyer when he cut to the inside of horses. So I don't care about the bunch stop. This horse is brave and he'll go anywhere, but I think that Tacitus may be on the lead just because he's drawn down inside in the 1 hole. He may be there by default.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do think Code of Honor lowers himself down and is the kind of racehorse that really loves it. When I look at Preservationists and everybody goes, okay, this horse doesn't want to be on the front, and I truly believe that. But he sort of ran off on Junior Alvarado, and the horse, the race that we're talking about when he went on the front end and he was not successful.
In the Whitney.
Who was chasing him?
Yeah.
McKenzie.
No, McKenzie still.
McKenzie.
Okay,
Even if McKenzie wasn't in the race, I think it may not have worked out to his advantage.
I understand that, but my other part about this, when you got a horse McKenzie chasing you like that, he took the heart right out of him. So a different ball game.
Yeah, Jimmy Jerkin's point though, I think he was wide and rushed up to the front, and that took a lot out of him. He feels tomorrow, if he actually can go to the lead and he's not scrambling to have to do it, he might be okay with that.
Yeah. If he goes to the gate like he did in the Woodward and the Suburban, then he may be on the lead. If it's a relaxed lead where he's not sent away from there, but that day in the Whitney, Junior popped him on the shoulder leaving there and it made the horse aggressive. And he was kind of hot when he got to the starting gate that day anyway. So he's a little bit of a mental game, but if the same preservationist shows up, then he very well could be on the lead, and we could see Tacitus and he go head and head, which is not going to be good for either one of them.
You want to know the crazy part about this? If you look at this field, Code of Honor broke his maiden gate to wire.
No, he absolutely.
He's the only
he
horse
can lay
who's shown,
close.
like, speed.
Wouldn't be. I don't know where to see him a lot closer than we have the last couple of starts. Let's get a paddock report. Head downstairs as we get set for the 5th coming up at Belmont with Maggie Wolfendale.
And this 5th race is for 2-year-olds once again, but we are sprinting and we are having some open company horses here, as your current favorite is a horse actually turning back in distance, in which trainer Jonathan Thomas had success in doing so last week with the 2nd time starting 2-year-old, in which he debuted a mile and a 16th up at Saratoga, and is now dropping back to the 6 furlongs, and that horse actually showing speed that day. We'll see if King's Honor does show speed, as the very short cup cheater blinker goes on him, but I had written in my notes small, more compact, well muscled, and all of those things just mean sprinter, in my opinion. Plus, he's by Kingman, who was a European horse who was more effective in sprint races. Like I said, he's a small type. He looks a lot more like a sprinter, so I'm not going to try to talk anybody off of him as your favorite, as he does have the experience against most of these in here, which are first-time starters. And we'll talk about number 3 for Jeremiah Engelhardt, Tis Me, Bobby McGee. Now, Jeremiah's done great with his 2-year-olds, but the majority of them have been A, fillies, and B, dirt sprinters. Not getting any of that here, as this is a colt by Tiz. Now, they did pay $125,000 for him at the Fasig-Tipton May sale at Timonium. Worked 10-3. That's a bit slow, but I didn't mind the way he went. He kind of had a daisy cutter stride, but he was asked for it a lot. He was really hounded by the rider. So I don't know if this, and 2, there's not that much turf pedigree. I mean, besides the way he looked in that breeze, there's nothing pedigree and here in the paddock that suggests turf to me, because he's very, very upright through his pasterns. He's not a bad looking horse. He is well prepared in here. I'm not sold at what might be a short prices. Number 4 is very interesting. The French bred Jack and Noah. This one sold for $180,000, relatively speaking, as far as American dollars, to those in France, because he sold at Arcana at the Breeze Up sale in May. And you watch the video, I guess he worked 21 seconds for a quarter. He definitely had some higher knee action, a little bit of a higher head carriage. We'll see what he does here sprinting first time out. He's actually a bigger, scopier horse, so he might want just a little bit more ground, but Mark does have him fit coming in here, and there's plenty of pedigree for this horse to be okay in this spot as well. So take a look at number 9, Leading Factor. They paid $300,000 for this horse at OBS April and worked 10 flat, really impressive breeze. So that's probably why they paid that much for him. He's a big, solid horse. He moved beautifully in that sale that day. He looks like a turf horse. He's fit, and Timmy Hills can be so dangerous with his first-time starters, as we've seen throughout this year, especially with the 2-year-olds. Because, though, he is a bigger horse, I'm wondering if he'll need a race for fitness, but I'd keep my eye on this guy from the outside, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. 6-1 right now on Leading Factor. The dam was actually graded stakes placed on turf. 2 foals have won on the turf. Want to remind everyone you can earn a $10 bonus just for betting the best racing today. Bet $50 at Belmont and $50 at Churchill on the NYRA Bets app, and win or lose. You'll earn a $10 bonus in your account. Visit NYRABets.com for all the details. Back at Churchill Downs in that 5th race, 34-1 on Better Charge at Son of Will Take Charge for Donnie Von Hemel and Brian Hernandez Jr. $70 horse.
Wow. Out of a Mount Livermore mare, by the way.
And what'd you guys say about the pick 5? Nobody hit the pick 5, and there's a carryover. But
how does it happen?
Where's
See
the carryover coming?
The carryover 79,000. When we turn the page over, you're going to see that the pick 5 carried over. Now, does it carry over to tomorrow's early pick 5, or does it go to the late pick 5 that starts right now here at Churchill Downs? So if you're out there in Twitter land, tweet at us here at NYRA and let us know what happens here. Does the 80,000 swing right here to race number 6? I think that starts off the pick 5, if I'm not mistaken, at Churchill Downs, Wolfie.
Here's our post parade. Does coming up next, the late pick 5 at Churchill. Here's our post parade Lacoste, Kendrick Carmouche, first timer by Treasure Beach.
At Treasure Beach, and this horse has some steady workouts. A lot of half-mile works. Kendrick Carmouche aboard today.
Bobby Roboto sends out the son of Into Mischief, another debuter with Dylan Davis, Verify.
Yeah, him and Mark Keller have been a combination for a long time. They've sent out a lot of good horses, and Into Mischief can get horses on the turf course.
Maggie mentioned not a lot of turf pedigree with this one. First foal from the Dam, who only tried the turf once and finished 6th of 8th.
Yeah, and, but by Tiz now, I see him going short for the first time. Maybe this is a prep for a little longer.
Jack and Noah by multiple Group 1 place sprinter on the turf, Bated Breath.
Yeah, and gets probably that gray from Mizzenmouse on the bottom. So this one's been working great guns in the morning. I would think should be live, but is actually dead on the tote board.
Turned Aside was putting in a nice run in his debut at Belmont, got shut off on the rail, wound up 3rd beat a length.
Yeah, and I'm surprised this horse isn't a little shorter price. He's going the opposite way. It was 5-2 on the morning line this morning. He's got some speed, or last time, and got some speed early on.
Jonathan Thomas, he will cut back in distance King's Honor, who went a mile and a 16th at Saratoga first time out.
Jonathan Thomas got sick numbers. He had another horse do this before, a mile and a 16th, but ran better. Didn't put the blinkers on. This horse is dropping back to cut distance. He's 35% on turf sprints.
Yeah, and that one is putting blinks on. Coloquist, Eric Consell rider change here by Belmont Derby winner Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, no, this horse is dead on the board right now. It has some decent workouts up at Saratoga, but not getting any action today.
This horse is stakes placed on the turf. You're getting 9-2 on Now Is.
Yeah, and a horse that was really good last time out trying to break his maiden over a yielding racetrack. And if you look, his 2 best numbers are here at Belmont.
9-2. And leading Factor in the outside. First time starter by the Factor. Leading Factor.
Yeah, by the fact Timothy Hill's the trainer. He's won 1 race out of 4 here at this early Belmont meeting. We've only run 3 weeks, and he's got some nice workouts at Monmouth Park. Getting some action right now.
That's a look at our current favorite. Drops down a little notch again here to 5-2. King's Honor, mile and a 16th in the debut at Saratoga. Now we'll tackle 6 furlongs on the cutback in distance with the equipment change. Blinkers on for start number 2. We'll be back.
What I like best about Runhappy is Sire, he showed so much brilliance to win the grade 1s that he won, different racetracks, and he was competing against the best horses that made it look easy. When I first heard about the bonus, I thought it was good for everybody, buyer or seller, gets everybody on the same page, that there's a lot of enthusiasm with the horse already, and I think that just helps add to it. I think these Runhappies, the public already wants to like them. That's a great thing, and I think that's a little icing on the cake for the whole deal.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Greg Wolf, Gary Stevens, Paul LoDuca with you, and Maggie Wolfendale, as we're 3 minutes away from the 5th here at Belmont. This is a look at Turned Aside, for Lynna Rice. So this will be the second start. Went against Now Is in the debut back on September 6th, and had some trouble along the rail, had to shift outside under Jose Lezcanos. Let's take a look. 2 very different trips here.
2 very different trips, and what we didn't see
no room there for Turned Aside.
No room right there. But Now Is, we didn't see the trouble that Now Is had down the backside and going into the turn. Was stopped horribly, was a long ways back and just eating up ground. Got a lot better post today. Goes from the 1 hole clear out to the outside today to the 8 hole. Only got 1 horse outside. if he gets a better trip today, I think that he doesn't only win, but he wins with authority.
I don't understand what. First of all, 8-1 morning line I didn't get. I still don't get 5-1 here, Paulie.
No, either do I. You look at this race, and you like we were just talking about. I mean, he could have. You could argue he ran a better race than the 5 last time, and the 5 is your favorite. Now, does everybody want to go to that race? They're starting to go towards the first-time starter of the 4, Jack and Noah, a horse that reportedly I had heard that could run a little bit and showed it last time out on the dirt, but it hasn't had the turf work, so he remains to be seen. When it comes to the 6 King's Honor, I think it was like last week, you know, Jonathan Thomas had a horse that was a mile and a 16th. We always talk how hard it is to cut back to go 6 furlongs, but a similar horse, this one he puts blinkers on. We're going to see Structor a little bit later. And, you know, this horse probably will show speed, and Jonathan's really good at these turf sprints.
Yeah, the blinkers are going on today, and a lot better post position than what he had last time. It was kind of shuffled back a little bit last time. Polling was a little more aggressive, but with the blinkers on, I expect him to come away from there running today and have somewhere to go when it
Look
counts.
at his route to sprint numbers, Greg.
Jonathan Thomas, yeah.
42%.
Incredible. We're minute to post. Let's head trackside, check in with Maggie again.
Noble Emotion was the horse that Jonathan won with last week that was doing the exact same thing here. And like I said, that horse showed some speed. Would not be surprised if King's Honor is up there on it or right off of it, as we'll take a look at number 5, Turned Aside. As you guys pointed out, that trouble in the lane. But I also like the fact that this horse had some early foot in the early stages of that first time out affair, because sometimes Linda's horses, they're just incredibly green out there, and this horse actually showed some professionalism. The one thing that is consistent with Linda's horses is that they tend to always look as though they need a start, and this guy has definitely tucked up at second asking here. So I think he's very formidable as he has popped to your 5-2 favorite. As I'm going to go with number 9 on the outside, Leading Factor. I was hoping for a better price, yes, but I suppose it is encouraging that he is taking money, but I don't know if he'll win here. The horses who have experience I like, and I can't fault them at all. But he just has this wonderful way about him. He has this buoyancy to his stride. He just kind of floated along out there. He's not that keyed up, at least as far as any of the preliminaries are concerned. But he's also very professional, and I appreciate that. And I think there is some talent with this horse. He's just one that just pulled at my heartstrings a little bit, Greg, and never should bet with your heart, always your head, but I'm going to take him as my pick here.
Nothing wrong with being passionate when you fire away at the windows.
No, it's true. There's nothing wrong with that at all. By the way, the 7-year longest shot on the board, 47-1. Phil Gleaves, 0 for 29, but look at his first-time turf in his ROI. He's 2 for 7 with an $18 ROI. He struck with 236-1 shots. Crazy.
5-2 favoritism, as Maggie mentioned, on Turned Aside, American Pharaoh. Leading freshman sire in the country and has been so strong with the turf runners. And now this horse with that experience under his belt, the one to beat on the board. Second time out for Linda Rice from post 5 here. We send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
Leading Factor steps forward, coming up to the outside stall. A bit reluctant to go up here is Leading Factor. They've opened up the front of the gate. Looks like Leading Factor has come forward now. And they're all in line. They're off. Leading Factor a step slow to begin. Lacoste hesitated a bit too. It is Turned Aside and Jack and Noah. Turned Aside to the front. Jack and Noah will sit back in second. Conquest is third, and then King's Honor between horses. They're followed by Nowies on the outside, then Lacoste, who's down at the rail. 5 from the front. And they're being followed by Tis Me, Bobby McGee racing on the outside of Verify. And then Leading Factor at the back of the pack. 22.33 was the opening quarter mile. Moving for the far turn, Turned Aside, and Manny Franco lead the way by 3/4 of a length. With Jack and Noah ranging up closer in second now. Break of 2 back to King's Honor and Conquest on the outside. And that it's now is followed by Lacoste along the rail. The others need to get going after a half mile. in 45.26. They're into the stretch, and it is turned aside in front. The leader by 3/4 of a length, Jack and Noah, second and now moving up alongside, and Jack and Noah goes on by. Turned aside is back into second on the inside, and it's 4 lengths more back to Now Is, who has grabbed third. Jack and Noah. And Jose Lezcano by a length and a half over Turned Aside, and then it was Now Is and King's Honor.
Jack and Noah, first time out. Second Dam was a stakes winner on turf. There was a lot of pedigree there by Bated Breath. Wins with Jose Lezcano from Marcassi.
Yeah, and you saw him galloping out there. He's looking for more ground. He's looking for more distance. Pretty impressive first-time start there.
Yeah, you could tell Jose Lezcano was trying to get him to calm down. His head was a little high, and then he finally got him to settle. Wow, 108 flat. That's pretty fast for some maidens here. We talked about the 7 and Phil Gleaves. You cannot leave him out. He is a good condition. I know he's over 29, but he had a 30-1 shot, almost hit the board here. But no doubt about the winner, Jack and Noah. Wow, 3-1. We were talking about this horse. Horse was 8-1, getting no play. Looks like Mr. Barber got his play in right before they went off.
Congratulations, Gary.
Couple of 3-1 shots. Favorites defeated in each of the first 2 legs of this late pick 5, but nice first out effort here from Jack and Noah.
I love the action on this horse, and I love the acceleration that I saw when they hit the 8th bull. Fast time here. I know the turf course is firm, and a great run from Turned Aside again today. Showed improvement, just outrun.
All right, we'll bring you these prices in a moment. 3-1 over 5-2 over 6-1. 4, 5, 8, 6 finish in that 5th from Belmont. Back to Louisville, and the starts of the late pick 5 as you look at those iconic twin spires. Late pick 5, and Churchill begins with a $40,000 claiming race. Mile and a 16th, and oh, it is a dartboard. I don't know what to do in this race. Anybody can win, it seems like. Here.
I know there's only 6 horses, but 6-1 is the longest shot. And when you look, Greg's right. Create Again, the 6 is the fastest. River Echo has taken them gate to wire, so you could see those 2 maybe go to the front. Maybe the 2.
Old back class with the 10.
I guess the 5, because
I like the 6. I like the 6 dropping in for Larry Jones, Gabe Saez. He won on 2 back. That was back in April. He's coming off of a long layoff here, but that's my pick in here, guys.
I can see that. That horse can be forwardly placed. That could be key here.
I know it's a fairly quick turnaround for the 2 as well, just a couple of weeks here, but On Patrol, the 2, has races that absolutely win this race.
I get it. It seems like the freshest horse has been the key. So if you're going to look for a fresh horse in here, it's the 1 and the 6. And maybe that's why the 1 is 5-2. I'm surprised the 5. Chris Landale's riding for his father-in-law, Ian Wilkes, on the drop, gelding. Ian really doesn't drop his horses an awful lot. I thought that would be your other horse in there, but not really getting played.
That was it. His last race, I think, is a throwout.
Yeah.
He ran at Kentucky Downs, and if horses don't handle that course, they just don't run.
So you just draw a line through it, basically?
Yes. When their form goes off that bad, granted, his race before at Indiana Downs was not a good race, but that was a soft turf. So what it tells me and he's getting back on dirt today. So I would throw both those races out.
There's Exemplar moving in the 1, Julien Leperoux. The last time he was on dirt, it was at Churchill, mile and an 1/8, and he was a winner for $50,000. 2 for 3 here on this course. As River Echo moves in, Peter Miller, another one that could show speed. He goes turf to dirt as well. And here's the one that comes in from Kentucky Downs, the 5 there, Kearney County.
And it's another one for Gary Barber, the Peter Miller River Echo.
Yeah, the 3. Could see those silks in the winner's circle
let's see
again.
The board. Let's see the board. Did he fire?
Was there a late hit on that horse? Let's go to Travis Stone. Here's the late pick 5 from Churchill.
They're in the gate, and they're off. Create Again with a good beginning. On Patrol down inside with River Echo. Matrew in the far outside, Kearney County, and Exemplar drops out to trail the field as Create Again goes on with it early, builds a 3-length lead for the clubhouse turn run. River Echo moves up into second. On Patrol is away third while inside. Matrew comes up into fourth by another 2. Kearney County and Exemplar in a strung out field moving for the backstretch behind Create Again, who speeds off and is keyed up through an opening quarter mile in 23 2/5 seconds. So Create Again throws down fast fractions early on. River Echo tracking this pace. Matru has moved up to be third outside, 5 furlongs out. On Patrol's waiting inside fourth by 3 more. Then it's Kearney County and Exemplar at the back. 46 4 was the half-mile time. Now just a half-mile to go, and Create Again onto the far turn with a 3.5 length advantage, trying to see it out from here. River Echo getting closer. Matru's asked to go. On Patrol's back and forth, still 6 lengths behind. 3 more back to Kearney County, who's 8 lengths behind, and Exemplar's at the back, so they're coming for the top of the stretch. Create Again is still in front. River Echo has been tracking throughout and is 2 lengths behind off the turn. Create Again wanders to the outside. River Echo wanders down inside and is trying to come on through. Create Again trying to hang in there. River Echo with a bold move up the rail, comes on through and takes over. River Echo now in front. Create Again back into second. Farther back, Exemplar up into third, but River Echo is the winner on the wire by 2. Create Again, good effort second. Exemplar third, and Kearney County fourth.
And did take some late money at 8-5 here. River Echo gets the win. Corey Lannery decides to sneak to the inside up the fence on Create Again.
Yeah, and I don't, turns out to be a great move. The leader right there, Create Again, he drifted out, not much, and there wasn't a whole lot of room in there. And Corey likes to get on that fence down where Calvin Burrell likes to run too, and gets that boot rubbing right up against that white fence there. And if you're going to come through on the inside of Churchill Downs, that's where you've got to be, right on top of it. And that's where Corey likes to be, and River Echo was game enough to go through that hole.
I'll tell you what, man. Bold, bold, bold. And Mr. Barber, yeah, I think he got his bets down. I think you know what he was doing? He was waiting for the race to go official at Belmont. As soon as it went official at Belmont, boom, the money went down on River Echo.
You think there's a little parlay gone?
Season opening on the inside, allowed by Gabriel Saez and Create Again and River Echo. Corey Lannery take advantage here after tracking in second. And 8-5 favorite kicks off the late pick 5 as we go back to Belmont. Jack and Noah, how about this first time out performance for Mark Cassie and Gary Barber with Jose Lezcano?
Yeah, that's great by Bated Breath out of the Mizzen Mass Mare Winter Count. Bullet Drill on the dirt, came here on the turf and won like a good thing. Turned aside, did get turned aside. Now was wide most of the way, and I thought ran okay for Phil Gleaves. That early pick 5, you had to get to the longest shot on the board in the first race, and you're able to get 4,500.
Sixth race, quick look at the odds here. It's a mile and a 16th. New York Breds, first allowance condition coming up. Dupes 0.6 to 5. We'll cut back in distance for Christophe Clement. Looks to be awfully tough in this spot, but 6% may have a say as well as we take a look at what's ahead on our huge weekend. Belmont Fall, win in your in schedule. Jockey Club Derby, of course. Spanish Mission. In the turf, punched a ticket already in the Vosburg Jockey Club Gold Cup this weekend. The following weekend, a lot more races as well. But the Vosburg, wow, this race has changed quite a bit. We knew No Call Paul. Now there's going to be No Promises Fulfilled as well, who was the main threat. They've really, well, I guess you can make a case for Forense Fire as well. But he was the speed as well by a mile. So with him gone, this completely changes things in the race.
Yeah, it does. It changes it. But Forense Fire, he's 3 for 4 here at Belmont Park. Imperial Hint, what can you say about his Vanderbilt win?
114 Buyer sets a new track record at Saratoga, Paulie, for 6 furlongs. And keep in mind who he did this against. Matoli.
Yeah, he did. Like I said, Gary's ridden quarter horse before. He looked like a quarter horse. You could see how tiny and compact he is. He looks like a little quarter horse. But the way he won, I just don't see it happening with anybody else in here. Promises Fulfilled was the one horse that could maybe upset him because he probably was going to be in front of him, and didn't mean Imperial Hint was not going to pass him. But now with a shortened field, I see him and Midnight Bisou being 1-9 on Saturday.
Well, he won this race last year. It'll be his, when he gets there, we hope he gets there, his third crack at a Breeders' Cup Sprint. He was third last year, second the year before that. Maybe this is the year for the little rocket here, the 6-year-old son of Imperialism. Now his main threat in the race with Promises Fulfilled out becomes Forense Fire, who, Gary, you alluded to it. loves Belmont Park. Some of his best moments have come here, and he's coming off a second in the 4-go to Matoli.
Yeah, and I love that now with the scratch of Promises Fulfilled, Forensic Fire's on the outside. He's going to be right next to Imperial Hint, and hopefully my plan would be, if I was riding him, is to just lay right on top of Imperial Hint and just give him all he can handle. And Imperial Hint can handle a lot, so that might not be enough, Paulie.
No, it might not be. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go on a limb and say that a exacta, cold exacta Imperial Hint to Forensic Fire is going to pay under $2.50.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Somewhere
Just,
in there?
you know, look, not a huge field, but to see a horse who's this good, such a star, put in such a big performance at Saratoga, track record-setting performance last time. It's just fun to watch him do his thing on really just the stepping stone to his next start, which will come in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, where he's going to be one of, if not your favorites, in that race. Meanwhile, in the Belle Dame, we're going to see another very short price. Horse who's actually a candidate for Horse of the Year, Midnight Bisou. She is 6 for 6 this year, undefeated. Looking to go 7 for 7, and we talked about this off air, the three of us, and at Belmont, she's maybe even at her best, and she has been scary good this year.
Yeah, she's just improved with every race, but she really shines here at Belmont. Her stride is different here. She looked great at Saratoga as well, but she's just improved with age. And hey, we saw some crazy things happen last weekend, and I think it's going to take something crazy for her to get beat. To me, she's the best bet of the year that we've had. I mean, I don't see anything that can light her up.
No, you're right. And for her to run down a late and sort of know it like a harness horse, she knows where the wire is. She's won 7 to 8 starts. Greg mentioned she's 2 for 2 here at Belmont. I guess Wildcat, the outside horse, definitely going to be your second choice, and you can argue and probably say she's a better filly or better mare here at Belmont Park, but she's just not that filly, and that's just the problem. That's the best filly in the land.
Probably races like that, you watch and enjoy superstars do their thing. I actually think that's a rare case where 2 to 5, 1 to 5 might be a good bet.
Yeah, you're right. You know, Wildcat being in there will make her 1 to 5. With Promises Fulfilled getting scratched, Imperial Hint might be 1 to 9.
Loaded schedule of superstar horses, and what if she does wind up going Midnight Bisou, wins this race? We all think she should. That would make her 7 for 7. She wins the distaff impressively to cap off an 8 for 8 campaign. Now, assuming some other things happen where Bricks and Mortar maybe loses, McKinsey maybe loses, she your Horse of the Year?
I think she's got a great chance of it, especially if she does what she's supposed to do tomorrow. And like you said, if she wins the Breeders' Cup distaff, and don't forget, she's had a lot of experience. Her career started at Santa Anita. And so she's been well-traveled. I think that she's been different. Is she different at Belmont because she's matured and grown and just got really comfortable in herself, or is it the Belmont surface that makes her better? So that would be my only concern. They are going out. I talked to Scott Blasi last night. They're going out October 1st. They've already got their game plan set for their Breeders' Cup horses. So they are going to be stabled there October 1st.
Yeah, and I think she's going to be a handful. Jeff Bloom, who owns the horse, he started all his conglomerates out in Southern California. One of the greatest groups you can join, too, as well. One of the greatest guys you can meet in racing. So happy for him. And I think it's a smart move. We've talked about this before, Greg. Horses that have been coming in from Santa Anita are fit as can be. They threw a ton of sand on that race course. We know why. You have to be fit. So if I was a trainer, I'd get my horse out there early over that racetrack because it's deep and it's very sandy right now. You got to get your horses some work over it.
2 things with Midnight Bisou. This shouldn't be much of an issue. John Velasquez, though, filling in for Mike Smith, fellow Hall of Famer, but he's been on board her before he was last year. But also, she's coming off. That's a taxing performance. Biggest number she's ever run when she beat a late. Now she comes back off that. Is any concern there? Connections seem to think she's doing just fine.
It's just not this field. Gary's like, if she was facing a lady or like somebody else, but who else would it be? She's just not. Who's she facing?
If she even Cup distaff runner up in there.
And what about Johnny? Johnny in California today to ride the stake races for Bob Baffert out there in 8 rings and Bant. Sitting on top of Jerry Bailey's all-time graded stakes victory, and then ride Midnight Bisou tomorrow.
Could put him in the dust very quickly.
He could be celebrating at the Derby tonight.
We're going to talk race 6 at Belmont. When we come back, we're approaching the 13-minute mark to post. We'll be back. A lot more coming up from Belmont and Churchill on this Friday afternoon. Stay with us.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
Feel my love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong. We're gonna go traveling.
I'm a firm believer you don't put the saddle on the pedigree. I bought him strictly because of his physique, his conformation. And then when you looked at the pedigree, it was the perfect blend. Runhappy was an incredible, incredible racehorse. Being supported by Airdrie Stud, who raises an incredible animal, to breed one of their best mares to him speaks volumes. It ended up producing an incredible result in this horse. And we just hope he runs to his looks and his pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Flatter. This prolific son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, he's adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record, including Sovereign Award winner Avies Flatter. In the auction ring, his yearlings have topped the Fasig-Tipton July sale 2 years in a row. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races on MSG Plus. Our show brought to you in part by Runhappy. Never lost in his career while sprinting, did it all while racing medication-free. There he is out of that legendary stall #1 at Claiborne. Standing for $25,000. We're going to see his 2-year-olds hit in the racetrack in 2020, win at Saratoga next summer with a Runhappy in an open maiden special weight. There's a $100,000 bonus on the line. 6th coming up here at Belmont at 1 1/16 in New York bred entry level allowance. We have a 3-5 favorite for Christophe Clement and Dupes Point. With more on this group, let's head to the paddock and check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And look, this race feels like a cold 4-3 exacta, but there's some horses in here that have questions to answer, including the one on the outside coming back off of a layoff, and that's number 7, Beachside. Now, he was supposed to run at Aqueduct back in April, but he was a late scratch back on the 11th, and now we haven't seen him. He was late vet scratch that day before the race went off, and he returns as a new gelding, which has definitely made him more of a tucked up, kind of streamlined physical, which I like to see. He hasn't changed much though. He's still a little bit on the smaller side, still very much the same horse that we saw last year as a 2-year-old. He is fit, he is sharp. I just would have liked to seen a little bit more progression physically with him overall. It's just not there, as he'll have to come back and run the 1 1/16 first off the bench, which also isn't easy, as we'll also take a look at one stretching out to this distance for the first time. That's number 1, Mr. Bobby, and he has never crossed the finish line first, though he was rightfully put up in his last race, a maiden 40, which was off the turf, so pretty weak field Mr. Bobby faced that day. But I also thought he just didn't look fit, and he was one that was a first-time gelding last time. He's a bit of a playboy, and he was still acting up pretty badly in the paddock throughout his time on the racetrack as well. So it's almost as if he ran well in spite of himself. And I feel like there is another move forward in him because he looks fantastic. He's actually a lot more fit here. He's on it, but he's not misbehaving yet. I don't want to jinx him too much. The problem is while he is a bigger type, and look, he probably comes by that misbehavior, but naturally, because every other Shanghai Bobby I've pretty much seen in my entire career of his progeny, they've been bad actors. They've been high-strung types. The mile and a 16th worries me a little bit. Maybe they're going to try to play the speed and be the speed from that inside post position. Maybe it works out for them, but I'd like to see him a little bit shorter than this, Greg. But he's going to be a big price in here, but definitely Duke's Point will be very tough to beat.
It certainly looks that way coming out of the Albany against Funny Guy. Talking about Duke's Point, who's 4-5 on the board, but this one here, Mr. Bobby again put up via DQ last start. Now going beyond 7 furlongs for the first time at 8-1, guys.
I think it's a big up in class for him. I mean, huge up. He's getting bet more than I thought he was going to get bet.
Yeah, I don't like horses first time against winners, and especially out of that race. He's going to have to improve, and he's going to have to beat Duke's Point. And a horse, I know that it does have 5 seconds, but this horse was third in the $256,000 Albany. He's run some really good races, and some of these races would win. He's in between horses there. He's a little green. He's getting bounced around. And I understand they're not coming home with the best of gusto, but these are also horses that are a lot more accomplished. And he also has $150,000 in his bank.
He's also, just for the record, never won on dirt.
Yeah, true.
Never won on dirt, and his 3 outs here at Belmont have been second-place finishers. The thing that worries me in here, there's not a lot of speed. He's versatile. He can go to the front if need be, but when he does get in front, I don't know if he gets camera shy, stage fright, or just wants company crossing the finish line, wants to hold hands, but he always seems to find a way to get himself beat.
True.
So meanwhile, you have the 6%. Did win at a mile, coming off a second against a horse named Leaky Cup, who ran third just a couple of days ago to Binkster, who we saw. But
good third, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting runner here for Brad Cox, the 3. We start with Mr. Bobby, though. He dropped from State Bred Maiden Special to State Bred Maiden Claiming, where he got put up via DQ.
Yeah, and look, like Maggie said, this is second time gelding today. He's still acting up a little bit. Dylan Davis got to know him a little bit last time out, and he's back aboard today.
BB Banker, son of Central Banker for James Ferraros at 16-1.
This is a horse's one win was at Aqueduct in a 7th horse field on a 1-turn mile, and son of Central Banker needs to turn around his form.
6%. His best performance came at a mile here at Belmont. That's where he broke his maiden for Brad Cox.
Yeah, another Central Banker, son of Central Banker, and he shortened up last time out. You can throw out his turf race, and I love that he's stretching back out today and getting Javier Castellano back on board.
Duke's Point, no question. He has faced the best company in here, looking for his first dirt win for Christophe Clement.
Yeah, he is a little camera shy, but he does have the best numbers in here, and he's the one to beat.
4-5 on the board. Meanwhile, long shot carry boy, Benji Hernandez, Gabriel Goodwin, son of Quiet American.
Tough horse to get to at 23-1. When you consider the horse was 40-1 basically in this condition, went to Finger Lakes and was your favorite and ran 5th.
And Beachside on the outside, 9-2. It's Jose Lezcano for Linda Rice.
Yeah, and he's getting on what might be his favorite racetrack. He's raced here twice. He's finished second 2 times, but off that long layoff, not so sure, guys.
Well, let's go back to this one here, 6% for Brad Cox, and look at that maiden breaking win. Now, he was favored in this race. It was his 3rd start of his career. Stretched out to a mile for the first time and looked good getting it done.
Yeah, and I liked his closing kick there, and I just don't know if he's going to get enough pace to run out today. But one thing about it, that maiden breaker, he was able to lay close, and he hasn't laid that close since then, and 2 subsequent beats. So he's going to be laying close today, and he showed a nice kick there to get up and win that day.
Nice little gallop out. I like that.
Handy little horse.
Javier Castellano will be aboard, second choice here at 2-1. And it did seem, Maggie said it at the top, when we went to her in the paddock, it seems like a 2-horse race in here. 6% or Duke's Point, the 3 and the 4, and that's how the race is sort of being bet.
I love what I'm seeing right here. This warm-up, ears are up, he's smooth. He's giving Javier all he wants to not let him go faster, and pulling up nice relaxed right now, and pretty focused, guys.
Well, meanwhile, on the outside, here's Beachside. Linda Rice runner. Race was taken off the turf at Aqueduct back at the end of his 2-year-old campaign, and that's where he wound up breaking his maiden, and he beat a pretty nice horse in that race named Not That Brady, who was briefly on the Triple Crown Trail.
Yeah, it's a horse that actually 2 outside posts ran well as a 2-year-old, and then as a 3-year-old, things went amiss. They've gelded him since then, and now a series of work. We're at Belmont, and then you don't see a work for 20 days, and then this horse worked at Aqueduct. And I haven't seen a horse in Linda actually bring in from Aqueduct. So either this horse is doing great, or they're just trying to give this horse a race.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough read, but I do like that the price is staying right at 5-1. So I think that's a positive for the horse.
Yeah.
Somebody knows something, and I think they're trying today. I don't think this is a give him one race to get him ready for another one.
The way he's getting back.
Yeah, he's only had 7 races. He's only a 3-year-old. Maybe he was given time off to mature more off of that last poor effort that was at Aqueduct clear back in February of 2018. It's a long layoff, but I think people like what they've been seeing according to what's happening on the tote board right now.
7-month layoff for him coming in, but a new gelding. They put him in the Damon Runyon, where he ran a very respectable race where Not That Brady was a mile the horse to beat that day. Was only beat 3 3/4 lengths. As we take a look at the big favorite, Dupes Point, even money morning line, 4-5 right now.
He
Junior
beat Not
Alvarado.
That Brady too.
Yep, the maiden win.
Yeah, he did. He beat Pipes, or he was behind Pipes. Pipes is his speed sort. When you look at the 4 Dupes Point, no pun intended, is he duping you? Like, because he's 1 for 9. How about this? He's 2 seconds, 2/3 on a fast track, 2 seconds on a wet track, 2 seconds at the distance and 2 starts, 1 win, like Wolfie said, on the turf with a second. So seems like he runs on anything. He just seems like he's second best, but he runs really nice figures. Then we saw a horse the other day for Chad Brown that had run 3 seconds in a row, but the horses that had beaten him were all legit horses, and he jogged. How many more excuses can you give Dupes Point, you know?
Well,
today's got to be the last excuse, right?
To me, he's 4-5 to run second, and he's about 3-1 to win.
Right?
But I no pun intended,
intended,
but he might dupe him again today.
You know, right? You're right.
But he may not.
Being told it's a neighborhood in Louisville, Dupes Point.
Oh, okay.
I'm with Gary, though. That's a good point there in terms of the wagering. I think more upside here with 6% at 2-1. Let's check in and get Maggie's thoughts on this race.
Isn't there something wrong with a New York bred being named after a town or neighborhood in Louisville? Just saying. 6% is a horse who's stretching back out in distance. And last time I really thought that maybe he was a horse who his performance might be accentuated by that sloppy sealed track that he had. Now, then again, you look at his first start and in muddy sealed track, he really didn't handle it that well. But he's getting back out to a route of ground. Mount is 16th here, and I really think that's what suits him best. And maybe the fact that the track was wet last time helped him and aided his chances of getting up for second place honors. He's the real threat. It's pretty obvious, don't get me wrong, but I really think that the longer this horse goes, possibly the better he becomes. So, look, I'm not going to try to take against Dupes Point here, but 6% he might be pretty threatening getting back out to this distance here at Belmont. Guys?
Maggie thinks 6%, 9-5. Dupes Point, the 4, even money. As we see Mr. Bobby slightly rambunctious here.
He doesn't like taking orders.
I don't either.
I know somebody like that. I'm sitting in myself.
Oh, okay. I thought you were referring to someone else.
No.
Dylan Davis, Jimmy Bond sending out Mr. Bobby. Here's 6%. So seemed like you're against Dupes Point, 6%. Who you go with?
Yeah, 6%.
Yeah. There's Dupes Point. We'll see if he can break through here on dirt for the Clement barn. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
Just waiting for Beachside now to come up to the outside stall, be the last one to load. And they're all in line. Mr. Bobby very restless. They're off, and not a good start for Mr. Bobby. Beachside on the outside, Kerry Boy and BB Banker out for the early lead together, and BB Banker grabs the front as they race onto the chute. And then it's Kerry Boy running in second, followed by Beachside on the outside, and Mr. Bobby has the rail right in behind them. Then BB Banker and Dupes Point. So there's 5 lengths from top to bottom, and they're led by BB Banker up the backstretch, who runs by the first quarter in 23.85 seconds and leads Kerry Boy by a half a length. Beachside and Mr. Bobby heads apart third and fourth. BB Banker and Dupes Point side by side right behind them. So they continue up the backstretch, and as they continue up the backstretch, it's BB Banker, the leader, by 3/4 of a length. Kerry Boy on the outside running in second. Mr. Bobby is third on the inside, Beachside. Then comes Dupes Point and 6% down toward the rail at the back of the field. And 5 lengths off the lead, 47.28 was the half mile. Round the far turn, BB Banker, 3/4 of a length to Kerry Boy. Beachside is moving up on the outside and moving well now, while 3 wide on the turn. Dupes Point is coming under heavy pressure with a 4-wide trip. Right behind them, 6% and a ground-saving Mr. Bobby. So they make their way toward the top of the stretch. 3/4, 111.94. And as they turn for home, it is BB Banker off the turn in front. Beachside now put to pressure in second, and Dupes Point has now moved by him on the outside. And now suddenly Dupes Point has made a steady run toward the lead right outside of BB Banker as they come down to the final furlong. Beachside has flattened out into third, and 6% has taken fourth. It's Dupes Point and BB Banker who continues to fight, but Dupes Point's going to do it. 3/4 of a length over BB Banker, then Beachside and 6%.
Dupes Point tried to give this one away. Junior Alvarado had to give a little reminder. Let's look at the competition to get to the wire.
Yeah, he does not want to win, guys. When he did make the lead and there was separation between he and BB Banker, he gets lost out there. He starts looking around, waiting for company. He's got blinkers on, so there's not much more that you can do. And as a rider, you just have to start trying to do everything. You'll see Junior going left-handed. Now he ducks out right here, heads out about 3 paths, and Junior gets him back over where he can partially see his competition. But believe me, if this 2-horse isn't there, he would have been back there battling with the horse that was third, 6 lengths behind.
Yeah, 6% looked like he had a lot in the tank, looked like he was ready to roll, and then just flattened out. And the 4 was wandering around in the stretch. Let's take a look at the start. The 1 was tossing his head, and then when they sprung the latch, he just caused it himself. He sort of hopped a tiny bit at the start and just didn't break great. But look at the 3 and the 4. They're last and second to last, but you could see that he rode the 4 with the utmost confidence to Junior Alvarado. I'm going to stay out of trouble and wide.
Yeah, and he rode a great race knowing the horse to beat was down inside of him from the word go with Javier, 6%. And Javier had his hands full. 6% was pulling harder than you would like the entire trip. He never did really settle. It looked like he was loaded coming into the stretch, or at the 5/16 pull. I'm talking 6%. And Javier wound up winning the wrestling match because, and that's not a good thing when the jockey wins the wrestling match. When you get in a wrestling match out there during a race, you're taking energy out of yourself and your mount, and there was nothing he could do about it. Just credit to Junior Alvarado and his ride.
4-2-7-3 early on, kept Javier and 6% kind of pinned in with nowhere to go, and goes wide, and when he needed to,
the other part about
found
this,
that other competition to
we
get the
keep
win.
talking how Luis Saez is so aggressive. Again, almost pulled off a 19-1 upset because he puts his horse on the front end and is aggressive early, you know?
The Churchill mile on the turf coming up. It's an allowance optional 80 race. And our favorite Daddy's Boo down on the inside here, 2 for 3 at Churchill. But now you're dealing with Coach Rocks as well, who's running the Kentucky Oaks. Just missed against Midnight Bijou by a length, had the lead on her into the stretch, and the Molly Pitcher 2 starts back.
Yeah, you know what? I think you can read too much into that because that was such a measured ride by Mike Smith that day on Midnight Bijou, and somebody had to be second in there. She was 6 to 1 that day, on 7 to 1. Comes back on the personal incident at Saratoga, and she went to 37 to 1 in there. I mean, yeah, if she runs that race back that she ran at Monmouth in the Molly Pitcher, then she'll win. But
she's not been on the turf.
That's the worry, right?
Since her 2-year-old campaign,
Yeah.
but her 3 starts on turf. Look, she hit the board in all 3 of them. Third beat a neck, a couple of very close seconds as well. Interesting, they're trying to put her back on grass now.
No, Prado on the bottom side. The horse that Gary rode to a Preakness winner. Oxbow on the top side. You know, you got Awesome Again. Is the sire of Oxbow, and Awesome Again is a horse that could get turf or dirt. And
Either
I think,
one.
Yeah, and I think Oxbow has done the same thing. He's been okay. And, you know, like you said, they tried to get this horse on the turf 3-back, Greg, and it didn't work. So they've been trying to get Coach Rocks on. So we'll see what happens today.
When I rode Oxbow, my feeling was that he was going to be better on turf than he was on dirt.
There you go.
And that happens sometimes. I felt that way with Rock Hard 10. I felt with it about a lot of good 3-year-olds that I rode, but there was so much money on the dirt, and they were performing well on the dirt, so they never got the opportunity because of injury or retirement. In Oxbow's case, both injured and retired, so he never got that chance to run on the turf. But my feeling was that he was always going to be a better turf horse than what he was on dirt, and he was a classic winner on dirt.
How early on did you feel you had that Preakness wrapped up on Oxbow?
When I worked him the week before.
Really?
Yeah, Wayne had me come out and work him, and he had really improved off of in 1 week. Just an easy half-mile breeze, but he galloped out, and I came home and I told my wife, I said, we will win the Preakness tomorrow. And that's how confident I was. I said, they're going to leave me alone on the lead. All I need is a good break for nothing to go wrong at the break. And we were able to get away from there clean, and they left me alone on the lead. And a horse like him, you don't want to leave him alone on the lead.
Ruthian called his shot before.
Love
That's
it.
pretty incredible.
Love it.
Well, we'll see. This daughter of Oxbow trying to get her first win on the turf. Daddy's Boo down on the rail. She's very quick, guys. She's drawn inside.
Yeah.
That should benefit her speeder, and she loves this turf course.
Yeah,
3-2 is the other horse in here with the speed, Gary. She's got to get away from the 3 early, I would think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And Coach Rocks has speed also. So for me, I want to be sitting just off the pace here, and I don't think that's going to happen with Daddy's Boo.
Travis Stone with the call. Here's the 7th from Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Daddy's Boo down inside with a good beginning. Vagabond Princess is there. Coach Rocks comes up. Phantom Opening and Cascan Oasis toward the rail. Racing for the clubhouse turn, it is Daddy's Boo out to set the pace. Opens up to lead by 2. Coach Rocks tracking from 2nd. Vagabond Princess over to be 3rd outside of Phantom Opening, who's running in 4th. Cascan Oasis 5th early on. Valentine Wish is 6th. Sweet Arithmetic is 7th. Tough Irma's racing in 8th and is already 10 lengths off the lead as the leader builds a 5-length lead to the backstretch run. Farther than that is Lovely Loiri, followed by Storytime, who's 12, maybe 15 lengths off, an opening quarter of 23 and 3. And it is Daddy's Boo setting the pace, isolated up top with a 3-length advantage and 4 furlongs to go. Coach Rocks has been tracking the pace from 2nd, getting a little bit closer for the far turn run. Vagabond Princess, 3 wide, racing up into 3rd. Phantom Opening covered up inside 4th. Valentine Wish making progress now 5th. Cascade Oasis in the thick of it 6th. Sweet Arithmetic 7th. Tough Irma is 8th. Lovely Loiri swings outside 9th, and at the back is Storytime, and up top it's Daddy's Boo, but the lead is evaporated. Coach Rocks coming with a bid now. Phantom Opening is down inside, but with that, Daddy's Boo has something left. Repelled the initial challenge, kicked away to lead by 2. Vagabond Princess boxes on. Tough Irma down the crown of the course, but Daddy's Boo with a 2-length lead. Coach Rocks, final try. Coach Rocks coming after Daddy's Boo. Photo finish, heads up and down. Daddy's Boo, Coach Rocks, or Daddy's Boo. Either one. Phantom Opening 3rd, Cascade Oasis 4th.
Hard to see where that wire was from what we're looking at. I thought Daddy's Boo held on. What a big race, regardless, win or lose. But Coach Rocks made this very tight at the wire.
Yeah, and she handles the turf just fine. Both fillies game here, I should say mares. Daddy's Boo, an 8-year-old, and this will be her 18th win if she did hold on. Had the easy lead out there. I'm not calling that. When you said Daddy's Boo, I'm not so sure. I'm not calling this one, guys.
You know what? The more I look at this, I think Coach Rocks persevered here. Daddy's Boo looked home, but where the wire's at, she got popped, right? Boom. Yeah, she won this race, Coach Rocks.
Coach Rocks.
Yeah.
It's either Coach Rocks or it's a dead heat.
It's a heater, you're right.
And I'll keep up my percentage of being wrong about 90% of the time on these calls.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I looked at Gary on the backside. I said, Coach Rocks being up front, like 2nd, is that a good sign? And he said, yeah, she's taking the turf. You see the one swap to the wrong lead
Yeah.
right at the end of that. And
Daddy's Boo, she kind of hopped at the start. I commented on it, but she's fast leaving there. She's in front most all of the time. And even after that start, majority of horses, that would have been the end of it. And she's in front already by daylight.
Man, that's a bad beat if you had the one. I know it's your favorite.
She's such a neat mare to an 8-year-old mare.
They've got the camera on the racetrack feed, the home feed, on the
up.
8 horse, and they have posted it now that the
Coach
8
rocks.
Coach rocks.
And here's
Good
the thing,
call,
when you
Paulie.
have a filly,
8-1-6-2.
and you have a mare like Daddy's Boo, like you were talking about, 17 for 35, loves to win races, Coach Rocks went and got her. You got to give Coach Rocks some credit.
Great job by Dale Romans, too, to get this filly back on the turf. She gets her first turf win, and Daddy's Boo, poor thing. That was a huge effort in defeat. 17-time winner of nearly $500,000. Comes up just short. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more. Preservationists going for a second straight Grade 1 win after that Grade 1 win in the Woodward at Saratoga. Where will he sit in this race with Junior Alvarado? We'll be back.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
The WIN program, I think, is fantastic for breeders. It's a really, really nice way that WinStar is giving back to the breeder and supported the breeder who's also supported them. If you had the option to breed to another stallion at another farm or go to the horse over at WinStar that has this WIN program attached to it, the deciding factor is easy. You're going to get more bang for your buck over there at WinStar.
Back at America's Day at the Races, poor Daddy's Boo. She ran too good to lose in here. What a stretch stool this was. Coach Rocks, Dale Romans puts her back on turf. Former Kentucky Oaks runner last year when she went against Monomoy Girl. Gets the job done by a whisker. Well-timed ride by David Cohen.
Yeah, and this could really build her confidence up. Coach Rocks is a good move, putting her back on the turf, it appears, and strong finish. She's got a lot of heart. Feel bad for Daddy's Boo. Brian Hernandez doing everything else, everything he could to coax it out, but David Cohen and Coach Rocks wind up getting their picture taken.
That is right. You're not seeing that wrong. 3 out of 4 in the pick 4. There's been bombs at Churchill. The pick 5 carried over the early pick 5, and they're actually going to insert it into the late pick 5, the night card, tomorrow night. So you'll have 80,000 to start tomorrow night's card. It starts at 8:30 Eastern time. We'll be way off air, but we might be at home watching it. Who knows?
You'll be playing it.
I think that's a 1 to 9. We'll be watching that, no question. Back at Belmont, Duke's Point ducked out a little bit. Didn't seem like he had a whole lot of interest in winning this race, but gets the job done.
Yeah, and if he would put his head down and really focus and try,
talent, yeah.
as a trainer and a jockey, it's frustrating when you're sitting on those kinds of horses. It's good to get to know them, though, and ride them with patience, because you know that when they get in front, you're only going to be in front for about 3 strides until they say, hey, I want the crowd to come back to me.
Yeah, and I think Christoph, point of entry of a whole that Tiger mare has realized, okay, he's good on dirt. They started him on turf to start his career, and now if he gets a little bit better, he might still be a better turf horse.
14 minutes away, 7th at Belmont. That's a look at mentality. Wesley Ward, filly, looking to win for the 4th time in 6 starts on this Belmont turf. Going to have to outdo Albertville right next door in post 4 to get that win. We'll talk much more about it when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. He traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. Now his progeny are hitting the track. His first winners include Saratoga standout Vass, with juveniles selling for over $400,000 and yearlings bringing up to $650,000. The sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
That time at Oaklawn when a home run made for a big night. Bet on your favorite teams at Oaklawn's new race and sports book. Oaklawn, a new level of action, a new level of excitement.
The thermal spring waters our city is named after are known for their legendary healing properties. Their thirst-quenching properties are pretty nice, too. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's different here. Come see why.
I think the bonus is really interesting. Mr. McInvale, as usual, is thinking outside the box, doing a wonderful job promoting his horse. Buyers will really appreciate having an opportunity like that to come back and run their horses at these top tracks and earn that bonus.
It's a wonderful incentive both for people in the market and people that own these horses. And I mean, what a great bonus it would be for anybody that wins. I think it's wonderful.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races featured event here at Belmont Park. Well, they are set, tacked, and ready to go as we have fillies and mares turf sprinters in this optional allowance. And we'll begin with the New York bred. That's number 5, Mentality here for trainer Wesley Ward, as she's coming back off of a narrow defeat up at Saratoga. But historically speaking, she's been a better filly when the turf courses have been very firm. And you watch that race back, and while she tried very hard, you could tell she was just spinning her wheels a bit, and she lacked a little bit of that needed acceleration to get her to the wire first. But now she's back on a firm turf course. She looks good. She looks very healthy in her coat. She has been one that struggles with the weight carriage that you would expect to see from at least a Wesley Ward horse. So that's my only slight knock on her, but otherwise she has her game face on. She's ready to rock and roll. As to her inside is one coming back off a layoff. That's a German bred Albertville, and while she has run well on courses overseas that maybe have a little give in them, she comes back here on a firm turf course, and you may imagine that being out of New Zealand, sire, so you think that she might like it a little bit firmer under her feet, as she did bleed in her only start back in April in the States. She also comes back wearing front bandages, so there's some reasons to be cautious with this filly. But then again, she's carrying great flesh. She's well conditioned here. I like the fact we stick with the 6 furlong turf sprint, because that's what she's built for. And we'll see how she does. It might be a factor of her enjoying this firm going, as we'll also take a look at another layoff horse, and that's number 1, Kitten's Cover Girl, who got good off the claim for trainer Pat Reynolds last time, but she'll make her first start off that barn change to Mert Cancantermasi, and he just has not been successful with his turf horses as Pat Reynolds was. I mean, Pat Reynolds, he did train Big Brown in his first career start, which he won on the turf, just for an example. But she physically looks pretty much exactly the same as before the layoff, and she's sharp here as she's always been. I like the fact they go to Louis Saez to get on her here. I think he should fit her well. And like I said, she looks well. It's just the bad record that this new trainer has with his turf horses, Greg, that makes me a little suspect.
Patrick Reynolds does such a good job, too, and now goes to Mert Cancantermasi, lay off a question mark as well, but definitely has some talent as we look at Kitten's Cover Girl back on July 4th. Victory at Belmont.
Yeah, winning effort with David Cohen aboard, and she's going to have to repeat this to win this. If she repeats that, she wins this race. I mean, or she puts at least right there with Mentality, but she's got to get back to that. And like you said, you know, Pat Kelly doesn't have a lot of horses, but people try to take horses from him. It's tough to move up from him.
You know what, guys? This
Patrick
filly,
Reynolds, excuse me, not Pat Kelly.
Yeah,
right.
she's been off for almost a year.
Yeah.
And that win came over a year ago. So, I mean, somebody knows something. She's 5-2 right now. 6-1 on the morning line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like her on paper because of that long layoff. This is a tough race she's stepping into, but somebody likes her.
And we talked about it on the show just a day or two ago. Those silks, Robert Amendola, he's very sharp.
He's very sharp.
So
Now,
that's
the one
usually
race
live.
that Merckton did win on the turf was a turf sprint. You know, horse paid a giant price, I must say $24, somewhere in that area. So I can understand where the public's going. But they're all going to have to run to beat mentality here, the 5.
Get a $10 bonus just for betting the best racing today. Bet 50 at Belmont, 50 at Churchill on the NYRA Bets app. And win or lose, you'll earn that $10 bonus. Go to nyrabets.com for all the details on the 50-50 promotion. So here's Kitten's Cover Girl. It's not raced in the afternoon, October the 13th. Now moves to a new barn, Mercan Cantermasi.
Yeah, and I mean, she's shown she can run. She's had 9 starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds. Don't like the layoff. Love Louis Saez climbing aboard today.
Miss Mystique, she has talent too. In fact, she has beat Mentality before. She did it at Aqueduct on the turf.
Yeah, she beat her to the punch, right? She sort of sat off her and then just went right by her. So she could show some speed from the inside, although Mentality changes the tables on her as she's on the outside of her today.
Second state start for Albertville. She just faced so much better than what anyone has faced in here in that state's debut, and as Maggie mentioned, bled in that race.
Yeah, bled in the race. Now you get Manuel Franco aboard in a filly by So You Think, acting up a tiny bit.
Mentality, Wesley Ward, 7-5 favorite right now.
Yeah, and this filly's got just tons of heart. She never throws in a bad race. 11 starts, 3 wins out of those, and trying to get back on winning track today.
Posse needed. Joe Bravo, Mark Hennig.
Yeah, this one's the outsider. The couple wins are both off the turf events, 0 for 2 on the turf, and I know it's a short field, but 7-1 is generous.
Guys, what filly, Albertville? She's galloping right now. Didn't want anything to do with that pony horse, and that's not unusual for Europeans. They've never been with ponies. I know she's been over here and had a start, but the lead pony went to take a hold of her, and the lead strap actually had got caught in the inside of her rein, so he had to wait for the outrider to come over, pull that out of there, and then she galloped off, and she's behaving herself now.
Let me ask you a quick question. When you look at her PPs, she ran around the racetrack, baby 5th. She bled, as Maggie said. She lost to Fire Key. That was a long time ago. Fire Key was a nice runner, Broadway run too.
4-time stakes winner,
her PPs are all straight to the lead over in Europe. So what happens here with all the speed in this race?
Did you go back and watch her last race?
Yeah.
Okay, and she broke just okay, but she was pulling. She was pulling with Eric Cancel.
The whole time, yeah.
I talked about that earlier a few races back when you get in a wrestling match with one, and it looked like he was, she was in a good spot, but she was having to be restrained the whole time. Looked like he was loaded. And when he got her out and asked her, she had flattened out. She looked like a horse that bled, which she did. We know it's published right here in the Daily Racing Form. But I look for her to break and run to her style more. She has speed. She just didn't get away that good. She needs somebody to follow right now. She's acting up, and Manny Franco doing a great job staying aboard right now because she's throwing every move that she's got. This isn't her first rodeo of doing this. She's a pro. Manny's hanging tough. He's waiting for somebody to get over there that he can follow, and that's what you do. There's not a horse within, I'm looking out on the racetrack, probably about 3/8 of a mile until he's going to have anybody to follow. Right now he's headed up to the starting gate, towards the starting gate, but he's got a truck directly in front of him.
You think he might go to the starting gate early and try to get to a starter, maybe,
Yes,
Gary?
that's exactly what I think he's trying to do. I hope that's what he's trying to do. I bet Maggie can tell us.
Let's check in with Maggie right now for more.
And it was funny, you guys were mentioning about how she was misbehaving with the lead pony when she first got out here, and Christophe Clement shouted, "Just go without the pony." And for briefly, the strap was wrapped around her leg. So I was about to run out there and grab it, but luckily it came undone. And Christophe Clement, the way he trains is, he doesn't typically have a lead pony, so it's very understandable, being a German and European raced horse, that she didn't know about a lead lead pony, so it's not like she has had much practice in the mornings here since being stateside. And furthermore, his horses, when they go out and train, they all jog back, single file, very European style. So she's always probably had another horse around her. So that's why she was probably misbehaving. Now he's got her jogging the wrong way. She's probably used to that, nicely framed up. Look, I've been around some French and not necessarily German bred, but French bred horses that it's just a totally different world, and sometimes it's a little bit much for them to overcome. But Mandy's doing a great job. He's sitting chilly, doing exactly what you want to see. And the thing is, though, is every time he turns her to go towards the gate or towards the right way, she's a bit reluctant, which is always something that may slightly concern you with a horse coming back off a layoff, guys.
5-month layoff, and yeah, Manny with his hands full right now. Gary, you're the jockey in this situation. You're Manny, so what do you try and do to keep her comfortable?
I call a lead pony, or I try and find another participant as those two gallop up there and put them right on the lead pony's tail. Don't grab a hold of them, just let me follow you, and they'll follow. Just like Maggie was saying, when those horses train in the morning European style, there'll be a string of 15, 16 horses, and they go nose to tail. Bad thing about that is if the first horse wheels, it's a chain reaction. They all follow the lead horse. So you need a lead horse that doesn't make any mistakes. And then the young horses, the fillies, the ones that are difficult, they'll follow along. And she's settled down a little bit right now. But that's what I would do when I would ride these horses with a little experience here in America, is just follow. I didn't want them to try and grasp a hold of them or anything like that. I just wanted another racehorse to follow, anything to follow that was going the direction I needed to go.
You got to look at Christophe Clement. There he is again. Has to be a little concerned here with how she's behaving herself. And 5 months rest, coming back here, and we'll see how much of that energy has been used.
I think we're all right there.
Yeah?
She's not getting hot. She's not getting mad. She's almost just seeing what she can get away with, it appears to me right now. And sometimes that's what the good fillies do, is they're handfuls. They're not easy to deal with, and you don't want to do too much reprimanding with them, because that's what gets them boiling over. And she's fine right now. This doesn't concern me a whole lot unless she gets worse.
She has been very consistent in her career. She had 1 point, won 3 of 4 on the turf. Only defeat was by a head over in Germany. As we take a look at her main rival here, this is Mentality. 3 for 5 on this turf course for Wesley Ward. Last saw her at Saratoga on a very off turf course that day, and Violent Times had come back to win, posting an 86 buyer out of that race, in which Mentality ran 3rd.
Well, her last 7 efforts, right, they're the same story. 81, 80, 79, 81, 81, 82, 80. She's always right there. The thing that she has going for her best races are Belmont. It's not even close. She's 3 for 5 here with 2/3. She loves this racetrack.
Yeah, and those buyers, that is what you're going to get. She's going to run them solid every single time, but I don't think there's a whole lot more there. She's had 11 races, and unless she takes a big leap forward off of this, that's what you're going to get today. Albertville, she ran the same type of buyer last time with the trip that I don't think she necessarily liked. She looks good today. She bled last time. If she steps forward just a little bit, which she's supposed to second time out here in America, then that's going to be too much for Mentality.
Well, we've seen, we talked about Mentality. She's very tactical. She can lay close. She can be a stalking type runner, but Albertville, not, even though a lot didn't go right in that last race and she bled in that race, she still put in a pretty good finish against, again, a 4-time stakes winner in Fire Key. Broadway Run is a stakes winner. Fear No Evil's been multiple stakes placed in her career.
That was a loaded race. I mean, we had a half the Fire Key run the other day, but Fire Key was some kind of runner, went over 600 and some odd thousand. I would say Broadway Run's got to be up there too. Oh, John Terranova, if I'm not right. John Terranova. Yeah, and first time, usually they don't break great. I would think this horse is going to break a little more. You can see Christophe, always superstitious, always a little worried.
She got hot. She worsened from the time I said this doesn't bother me. I don't like the way she's acting right now. She's acting like I would rather not be here. I could be wrong, but she looks like she's mad right now.
Let's send it upstairs. Mentality, the 5 filly, the one to beat for Wesley Ward. Here's Larry Collmus.
Line. They're off. Kittens Cover Girl on the inside. Miss Mystique, these two out the best. And right behind them is Mentality. And Albertville came out running in fourth behind them. Break of another 4 back to Posse Needed, who's slow to start. And it is Kittens Cover Girl up top as the field heads for the far turn. 3/4 of a length. Miss Mystique is running along in second position. Then Mentality in third. Albertville is fourth on the inside as they make their way through a 21.45 opening quarter mile. Posse Needed last of them all here in 5 from the front as they head round the far turn. Kittens Cover Girl by a neck. Miss Mystique is second, and circling up on the outside is Mentality. Albertville is fourth and saving all the ground here. 3 lengths to make up, and then comes Posse Needed as they make their way to the top of the stretch of 44.22 half. They're into the stretch, and it's Kittens Cover Girl still in front from Miss Mystique. Mentality now ranging up alongside of them. Albertville is right behind them in fourth. And then on the far outside, it's Posse Needed. It is Miss Mystique. And on the outside, Mentality. Albertville has moved into third as they come down to the wire. It's going to be Mentality to win it. Albertville got up for second, and then Miss Mystique and Posse Needed.
Mentality with the win, now 4 for 6 on this turf course, and Albertville had some tight running room for a little while there, winds up second.
Yeah, she did, and you know, she was at a disadvantage the entire way because I think this filly wants to be on the outside possibly, and she finally got a split inside the 16th pole, but I'm going to give all the credit to Mentality. She loves a fight. She knows what to do when they put the Dukes up.
Yeah, she does. She was wide most of the way, and you can see Manuel Franco, he had like a little lane here in the 2-path, and he's like, I can't take that with this filly because she's not going to go through. So he tried to go through the 3-path about right here. It's the 2. The 2 ends up sort of shutting that off on him right there, and just really nowhere to go. And I don't know if she gets through, if she wins, because he really didn't have to stop momentum. I thought she ran really well, but Mentality was 3 wide most of the way and got the job done. When she gets it together a little bit, Albertville, she's going to be okay. Yeah.
And you know what? She had a very similar trip as she did the other day with her first start of being behind that wall of horses and not being able to really expose her stride and being restrained because she's one pace. She doesn't have a turn of foot, but she's quicker than what she's been able to show early on because of being in tight quarters and having a horse on the outside. And Dylan Davis rode a smart race, didn't let Albertville and Manny Franco out, and that's what his job is.
Dylan Davis had a 3-win day earlier this week, picks up the victory here. 2 wins in the last 3 starts with Dylan Davis aboard on Mentality. Wins it even money, 5-4, 2-6 finish here in the 7th. Our nightcap still to come, and more from Churchill on the way as well. Stick with us, a lot more coming up on America's Day at the Races. You're on MSG+.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Back on America's Day at the Races. Talked about that 3-win day earlier this week for Dylan Davis. Multiple win day today. This was his second. Dilly.
Right? With the Ortiz brothers, they had to serve suspensions. Dylan Davis and Manuel Franco just taking advantage right now. And Franco with a big read, but Mentality, he did a good job of just keeping this horse out of trouble, knowing he had the best horse coming in. And now 4 for 6. There's your pick 5 fall along. They're actually not paying that bad. The lowest you can get is to the 8. No regrets at 8 to 5. $130. $1,336 to Bronxville. Dylan Davis, who's hot.
Sounds like you're Holding out a little hope there.
I'm hoping out a lot of hope there.
Back to Churchill. Beautiful afternoon at Churchill as well as we get set for their 8th race coming up. The 4 in here, this is a 6.5 furlong maiden special weight. Silver State, first-timer for Steve Asmussen, opened up at, I want to say even money or 4 to 5. Definitely dipped down to 4 to 5 at one point. Right now it's 2 to 1.
Yeah, and it's scary, his 2-year-old barn right now. Saw him the morning after the meet, ended up in Saratoga early in the morning. Went out with my older brother, Scott, and I asked Scott before we got up there, I said, have you ever met Steve Asmussen? He said loud, he says, I've known that guy since before he was famous. And Steve turned around and looked like that. And turns out they're buddies from way back. And anyway, we were talking about the 2-year-olds, and he said this is probably the best group of 2-year-olds that he's ever had, and he's never had this many. And they just keep coming out, one after the other. $450,000 hard spun colt here. And, you know, he's drifted up to 2 to 1 now, which is a fair enough price, because I think his horses do get overbet, the first timers. If you see Asmussen, you see the price tag, and Winchell Thoroughbreds, people are betting on them regardless of the experience that they may need the first time out.
No, you're right. This horse opened at 4 to 5. The 2 in here and the 13 draws in off the also eligible. It's Bengo, who just missed. I'm not a fan of him. I'll tell you what, the 11 newscaster, I'm a fan of Steve Hobby. I know he doesn't win with his first-time starters. This horse is working very fast in the morning, and that is not Steve's M.O. I do think the Asmussen horse is real. When 4 to 5 shows up in the first flash for Steve Asmussen in Winchell Thoroughbreds, they usually run. But I think Sportscaster could be a runner in here.
That's the horse in the background there loading. You see the favorite stepping in there, the 4 for Asmussen. Here's newscaster for Steve Hobby. And you have Atoka, the 12 for D. Wayne Lucas. We know this horse is going to be quick. This will be start number 3 for the Son of Union Rags. We saw him twice at Saratoga this summer. First time out missed by a neck at 25 to 1, and then showed speed and completely backed out of it as a favorite.
Yeah, I don't know what happened that day, because his first start was huge, and he was bet down to favoritism next time. And I don't know what happened. I don't want to guess what might have happened, but he just went from fast to slow and got beat 12 lengths that day. So if he can rebound, he'll be one to deal with.
There he is, just stepped in line. Last to load from the also eligible list, Bengo, yet gets in for Greg Foley. Let's go to Travis Stone, race 8, Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Bengo and Atoka on the far outside. Eyes of Glory is there. Relentless Dancer sent through down inside. And he comes on through to take over the lead. Relentless Dancer is in front. Eyes of Glory running in second. Atoka comes on to be third, and Sky We Trust is racing fourth. Azal racing fifth. Bengo 6th. Silver State on the move from 7th. 7 and 7 is 8th, and 8 lengths off the lead. A break of 3. Back to Newscaster running along in 9th by another 4. Yashima's near the back of the pack, and at the back is Money for Mischief, a bit awkward in green while down inside. 22 and 1 for the opening quarter mile. Round the far turn, here's Atoka. Atoka looking for the lead with 3 furlongs to go. Relentless Dancer right back at it at the inside, and that one's back in front now. Eyes of Glory set to strike in behind while third, and Sky We Trust is racing fourth. Silver State pops outside fifth. 7 and 7 trying to muster up a late bid. At the back with Bengal, they're off the turn. Relentless Dancer in front, 3/16 to go. Silver State bearing down fourth, third, now second. Here comes Silver State on the outside, coming after Relentless Dancer with a 16th to go. Relentless Dancer still in front. Silver State continues to rally. These two down to the wire together. Silver State, Relentless Dancer. Here's the line. Photo. Either one, Relentless Dancer or Silver State, in a photo for the win.
Relentless Dancer or the hard-charging Silver State, first time out for Steve Asmussen. I'm not going to call it this
I'm gonna give it to Relentless Dancer. I think Relentless Dancer held on. First time Lasix today, second time out for Mike Maker. What do you call, Paulie?
Yeah, I think he did. In the rail, sometimes you always get that perception there that the outside's got the advantage, but I think the 2 won the race. And the crazy part is the 4 was the favorite on the tote board. The 2 was the favorite in all the exotics. Now, the 4 got the best of the bobs as we look at the break. Did anybody have a really bad break? Looked like they broke okay. Couple crowding there towards the outside, but not really that much on the inside. But the Mike Maker horse, I think, might have got there. The 4 might have got the bob,
If the 4 got the bob, even if he didn't get the bob, Steve Asmussen got every penny that he paid Ricardo Santana and then some on this ride, because he was pumping and humping from the 3/8 pole, doing everything he could, winding him up clear out there.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to hit the board, and then he got him out coming off the turn, just made that gliding move to the outside. Horse just inside him, the 7 horse ducked out, and prior to this, and broke his momentum for half a stride, didn't really do much, but this colt ran really good for his first out of his life. Win or lose, I would be happy if I was the owner.
How many times at Churchill do you think you're going by on the outside and that inside horse just beats you?
A lot.
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
But it depends on the day. That track changes so often as far as being good down on the fence or not good down on the fence. I always preferred to be in about the 4 hole there, even if I was on the lead. The 3 or the 4 path is where I wanted to be, because there gets a point. I know Burrell and Lannery love to come down the fence, but they go where angels don't go. I swear to you. I go, you know, when I consider being on the fence, you can put, you know, a good size basketball from my foot to the rail. Those guys scrape the paint. They get right on top of it, and I don't know if it's firmer down there, but G. Stevens didn't go down in there often.
Wow, that's how close it was. Impossible to separate these two, especially from this angle. Still has not been posted.
I can't believe they haven't put it up. And
the cameraman had it on, just had it on the 2. Looks like he won.
Yeah, it's easy.
We have a winner.
2-4.
Inside.
Well, they've been showing both. They've been showing both horses.
Both.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bad info.
Was there a close finish for third?
They got as tight as this was. This could have been a dead heat.
No.
It
Come on,
could
Greg.
Paul, you
right
initially
there,
right there. I said that's all the bob.
The mirror. It's not close.
The 2 horse got a bob. But they're usually pretty quick at hanging up the photos. At dead heat, guys, they just hung it up.
Sorry, not close?
A dead heat?
They just hung it up, Paulie.
Wow.
Wait
You've
a
lost
second.
it, Paulie.
No, I didn't lose nothing. I want to see that again.
Right?
There's no
you
way
see
that's a
that?
dead heat.
Yeah. Look at there. You see it says there?
Wow.
The stencil.
Well, if you had the 2, you might as well go ahead and get the throw-up can.
The what, the throw-up can?
Yeah, because the 4 was never by you until he tied you right on the wire.
Pretty impressive first time out effort from Silver State. Remember that name, son of Hard Spun. Winchell Thoroughbred, Steve Asmussen. Man, was he coming fast. And as a result, dead heat here in the 8th with Relentless Dancer for Mike Maker. Well, the prices from this one when we come back. Nothing separating these 2 at the wire. Nightcap from Belmont when we return.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
Feel my love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong. We're gonna go traveling.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, it's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, welcome to those just joining us on Fox Sports 2. Great to have you with us on this Friday afternoon. We have the nightcap coming up from Belmont. Final 2 on the card as well from Churchill Downs. Greg Wolf alongside Hall of Famer Gary Stevens, 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, and of course our huge weekend ahead, including in the handicap division, where we have the Jockey Club Gold Cup and top 2 finishers from the Travers taking on older horses for the first time.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it, and it's a good group of older horses. Short field, but preservationists in there, and it will test these 3-year-olds. And I think they're up to the challenge. I think we've got a decent group of horses. A lot of strange things have happened here over the year with the 3-year-old picture. And this race tomorrow could be a deciding factor on what happens with the 3-year-old championship.
Yeah, I agree with you. To me, the 2 best 3-year-olds, besides obviously Maximum Security, are Tacitus and Code of Honor. I really do feel that. You can argue some other horses in here, but Preservationist, and I think Vino Rosso's getting sort of left out of the 4. We'll see what happens with him. But the younger horses, I think, can stack up against Preservationists. We'll see what happens.
Going to be fun tomorrow. We're going to have it for you live here on America's Day at the Races. Right now, the nightcap coming up from Belmont, approaching the 10-minute mark to post. Let's head downstairs for a paddock report with Maggie Wolfendale.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Jockey Club Gold Cup. Preservationist, he's really emerged on the scene as one of my favorite older horses, but the 3-year-olds, as Paul said, they are the 2, I feel like, that at least remain on track as we head towards the championship season, obviously out of the Breeders' Cup. As we'll take a look at a few horses here in the paddock for this last race, including number 1, Brock Monanoff for George Weaver. Finally gets Lasix now as a 4-year-old, making his 3rd start of this season. Look, he looks incredibly fit here. Those front bandages do stay on. He's kind of a logical type of contender as he shows up for this condition once again, but with the addition of that medication, you would have to think that possibly it does move him forward. As we'll check out number 2, our Storm and Norman. Now, arguably this could be one of the weaker fields that our Storm and Norman has run in, but the jury's still kind of out. Is he truly a turf horse? I mean, the majority of his better races, as he has seen something up in the stands, he just not sure about over there. But for his first performance here at Belmont, not quite used to the paddock. He was very well behaved prior to this, I promise. But he looks fantastic. Like I said, is he truly a turf horse? He does have a bit of a turf hoof, and I do think turf sprints are more ideal than the 3 tries going longer for him, which he did back as a 2-year-old. But look, if he takes to the class relief and the turf here at Belmont, then he's very, very logical. As we'll take a look at the likely pace setter in here, and that's number 4, Valmont for Ray Handel. At least I would hope they're aggressive with him, as he'll go 5.5 to the 6. And going back to his win in August, he was coming back off a layoff, and I was just in love with the 5.5 and 2, the field he was facing. He just made a lot of sense to me. But he actually looks fitter, stronger, tighter than what he did going 2 back. So I think he's a horse that has more conditioning on him, and if he can get to the lead, unlike last time where he completely spit the bit, he could be dangerous here with Manny Franco aboard. As the complete wild card here is number 6, Bronxville. First off, a claim for Bruce Levine. His only try on the turf came at a mile and a 16th against Marchlier and Seismic Wave, who are stakes horses. They are not non-230s. And Bronxville, while there's not a lot of pedigree, he's fairly upright through those pasterns. Just the fact of the class relief on the turf and the fact he's sprinting is pretty intriguing, and he'll be a decent price, I would think, Greg, on the board.
Maggie, thanks. Right now, 11-1 on Bronxville, making his second start on the turf, coming up in our nightcap here at Belmont. For those who just joined us on Fox Sports 2, we had a thriller back in the 8th. First-time starter on the outside, the 4 Silver State for Steve Asmussen, Relentless Dancer. Second-time starter, but first on dirt for Mike Maker, who held on, who got the win. Oof. In the end, dead heat at the wire.
And
Look, neither horse deserved to lose. I'm glad it was a dead heat. Relentless Dancer getting Lasix for the first time. Yeah, you want to see it.
I need
Show
to see
it
that
back.
again.
Put it back up.
I'm challenging the photo.
He threw the
No, the two's nose is completely way more on the wire than the tour.
No, you need here.
What
Put
do you
these
mean?
on.
His whole nostril's on the wire.
Here. Put these on.
Okay, hold on. I'm putting on my Gary Stevens' glasses. Yeah, the 4's nostril is on the wire. Yeah. You know what? Do I look more... Hold on. I mean, like, the line's going through his nostril.
Give him the hanky back.
Gosh.
Not a happy camper right now.
I'm not a happy camper.
I got to say, Paul's eyes, to this point, you've been undefeated, I think, in that. How many years have we worked together?
Too many years, but I'm 47 now. I'm like 4-time All-Star. Quit calling me that, because I'm losing my touch.
That was the one thing you still had left. You could call those photos.
I had eyes and hands.
I got news for you. My goggles don't fit anymore.
Here's our post parade back at Belmont.
By the way,
Mononoff.
Your eyes aren't that bad.
No. These are for reading.
George Weaver, Eric Cancel. Paul looked good in glasses.
Yeah, getting first-time Lasix. Not Paul, but Relentless. No, I've got the wrong horse here. The one horse is clear over here. I actually like this horse for later on down the road. I'm looking at, I got Churchill going.
That's all right, I messed you up. Our Starman Mormon goes through.
The glasses, I'm taking them back off.
I think a player in here with Cassie looking for a double on the race card. He had that gray win earlier.
Yeah, Familiar Silks, a Live Oak Plantation. Here's Valmont, Ray Handel. Should have speed as well.
You know, Ray's having a good meet. He really is. And Manny's having a good meet as well. So I wouldn't be surprised by this long shot.
Yeah, leading rider at the meet. Dull Knife, blinkers going on.
Yeah, and this one finished 7th the last time out. He's only hit the board 2 times of 8-time career.
Here's Bronxville, so just second time on turf, and as Maggie mentioned, faced a couple real good ones in DeMarshall Ye and Seismic Wave.
Yeah, she likes this one a little bit. This one out of He's Had Enough, who lost by a nostril to Shanghai Bobby at Santa Anita in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
There's no regrets. I do not get even money on this horse in this field.
Well, 1 for 20, 7 seconds, 0 for 15, 0 for 15 the last 2 years, 0 for 15 on the turf here at Belmont. Even money. I agree with Greg.
6 seconds and 15 tries on the turf. Never won on it. Running Violence, 10-1.
It's a horse that, you know, 1 for 7 lifetime, 2 times on the turf. One really good effort at Saratoga. Then they stretched out. Horse got dead left, was wide the whole way. I would actually give the 9 a long shot look to maybe hit the try or the super in here.
10-1. I want to remind everyone, get signed up, started, play along with NYRA Bets. $200 new member bonus when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up. Are we taking a break? I want to see those glasses on Paul again, because this is a good look for you. Can we see this as we go to break? You look very...
Thank you.
I just take you more seriously.
Mr. LoDuca, we were going to do E plus equals MC squared.
You do look like a professor.
Yeah, I know.
Professor of horse racing.
Stick a pipe in the mouth. Smoking jacket.
Nightcap coming up at Belmont. We still have. If I get my pick 5 home, I might be wearing those tomorrow.
I don't think they're not up for sale.
Oh, I've got an extra set in there.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back. More coming up. Finale from Belmont next.
Runhappy, you know, he's 16-2. He's a beautiful horse. There's stamina on top and bottom, and he's stamping his horses with that. I think they look big and fast, and like horses that'll go on and run a distance as well as short.
He was a fantastic racehorse. If he passes on his ability as a racehorse, I think he's a slam dunk to be a great sire. Very athletic looking and beautiful bodied horse as well.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. AmericasBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, Love it. Bet it.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. On the track, Orb continues to add winners. And in the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $250,000 in 2019. Classic winner, classic pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Greg Wolf, Gary Stevens, Paul LoDuca with you. And coming up on Saturday, Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup purse of $750,000. 2 Grade 1 winners, older horses and Preservationist and Vino Rosso. Taking on the 1-2 finishers from the Travers and Code of Honor, your winner, and Tacitus, your runner-up. So first chance taken on Elders for those 2 Travers 1-2 finishers.
Yeah, and the morning line, I think, is a very good morning line. I think that it very well could be the finish of the order that he has the morning line in.
The interesting horse is going to be Vino Rosso. Like, everybody's like, okay, Preservationist can win this race. I've heard Tacitus can win this race. I've heard Code of Honor, people like that horse. I haven't heard one person that likes Vino Rosso, not one. And has the credentials, to throw in a good race, but I don't know to beat those 3. Those are 3 pretty good ones. And then obviously the outside horse.
The right pickup rider. John Velasquez, of course, the regular pilot of Vino Rosso. He's going to ride Code of Honor, who he's been the regular pilot on as well. So the man who just picked up Math Wizard at 31-1 in the $1 million Grade 1 Penn Derby hops aboard.
I guess you could argue this, Gary. The freshest horse coming in?
Yeah, the freshest horse.
Vino Rosso?
And you can also argue his Gold Cup win at Santa Anita was a very good race. And regardless of if he runs a good race in here, don't throw him out of the Breeders' Cup Classic at Santa Anita.
He beat Giftbox.
Good point.
And the only horse to beat McKenzie, Giftbox beat McKenzie.
At a mile and a quarter.
At a mile and a quarter, yeah.
That's coming up tomorrow. One of 4 stakes races on our show. You don't want to miss America's Day at the Races tomorrow afternoon, where we will have tremendous action for you, including Imperial Hint, maybe the best sprinter in the entire country, trying to defend his title in the Vosburg. Midnight Bisou, candidate for Horse of the Year, putting her perfect record on the line in the Beldame as well. As they load up for the nightcap here at Belmont, 6-5 favoritism on No Regrets from post 8 for Dermot Magner. The 8, I should say, we have going to break from post 6, I believe, with the scratches. But the 8 runner with Javier Castellano. Let's send it upstairs for the nightcap. Here is the voice of New York racing. There's your favorite, Larry Collmus.
Last one to load here is Running Violence coming up to the outside stall. They're all in line. They're off. Brock Boninoff right out to the early lead. Valmont came out running in second, and then it's No Regrets away third on the outside by another 2. Our Storm and Norman, Dull Knife in between horses. Running Violence is there on the outside, and Bronxville is the early trailer as they head up the backstretch, where it is Brock Boninoff on top by a length and 3/4 over Valmont. Our Storm and Norman is on the inside of No Regrets. Between those 2, it's Dull Knife. Then Running Violence on the outside. The trailer Bronxville, the quarter 22:07. They make their way around the far turn. Brock Boninoff, the leader, a half a length. Valmont on the outside is second. Circling up 3 wide is No Regrets. Our Storm and Norman is next. Then comes Running Violence. Dull Knife trying to slice through traffic. And Bronxville at the back of the pack, and they're into the stretch. And it's Brock Boninoff to catch. On the outside comes Valmont. These 2, 1-2 now with a furlong to run. Our Storm and Norman is in behind them, angling to the outside. No Regrets is fourth. They're coming down to the final 16th, and it is Valmont in front. A 17-1 long shot leads the way down to the wire, and Valmont's going to do it. Won it by 3 over Brock Boninoff, and then it was Our Storm and Norman and Bronxville.
17-1 Valmont. Manny Franco, Ray Handel, and some fireworks here in the finale of Belmont.
Fireworks, and where did that race come from? Off of his last race. I guess he loves Belmont Park all of a sudden. But
Wow,
stalking the pace and actually comes away, and he didn't win like a 17-1 shot.
He won like a 1-7 shot. I mean, a 1-9 shot. I mean, he crushed this group. The 2 had a tiny bit of trouble, but had to like sort of go out a little bit, but not much. But on the wrong lead, not making up any ground at all. Brogdanoff cut off all the fractions, but I mean, this horse just ran away from him in 108 and change. And you're right. Where'd this race come from? But Ray Handel's been hot as a pistol. That's going to make your pick 5 pay handsomely now.
Yeah, and you know the little trouble that you talked about, our Storm and Norman. You know what that trouble was? The hole's moving faster than he was.
He was, yeah, exactly.
Valmont now 2 wins his last 3 starts. Won at Saratoga to finally break his maiden for State Bred, maiden 40. And usually does it when he's likes to be out in front. He was close in here.
Manny Franco's got what, like an 8 or 9. Dylan Davis had a couple. You got the leading jockey here with all the guys out of town. You're getting 17-1.
How about that?
Right?
Incredible.
It's 4, 1, 2, and 6. And your favorite does not finish among the top 4 in the nightcap here at Belmont with the prices, payoffs. When we come back, and yeah, your meets leading rider at 17-1 in the final card at Belmont. We got more coming up from Churchill, their 9th race, approaching the 5-minute mark to post. We'll have that for you when we come back on America's Day at the Races. Batter up.
What could be better than standing 1 Triple Crown winner? Standing 2.
Here comes American Pharaoh. Justified, turning for home in front. And American Pharaoh has Justified. He's unstoppable. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh, Justified, has won the Triple Crown.
Coolmore, America, home of Triple Crown champions.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NYRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com. Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Back at America's Day at the Races, and meets leading rider, doing it on long shots as well. 17-1 on Valmont in the finale on this Friday afternoon. Ray Handel and Manny Franco leading the way here at the Belmont Fall Meet.
You know, Gary was talking about Oxbow could be a nice little sire on the turf. Well, Midshipman was a horse that was a good 2-year-old, never really got on turf. He's turned out to be a good turf little sire. There you see all the late pick 5s. You get $1,000 with a 17-1 shot. I just think that's Manny Franco. But another carryover in that empire, 450,000 as it starts to build. And I want to say not this weekend, but next weekend, we're going to give that out, Greg.
Okay, look forward to that.
Yep.
Every time we think it's going to play out to form, and that's what a lot of people think this weekend.
Well, that's what a lot of people think this
happens.
weekend. If madness can happen this weekend, yeah.
Churchill, and you know, there's a big question mark in this race coming up. This is 6 furlongs, $100,000 allowance optional claiming race. Dugout deserves to be the horse to beat in this race, guys. But, and I know he won going longer back as a 2-year-old. He just got caught. No, it was a stakes race at Monmouth at 5.5 last time out. Is he vulnerable at 6 furlongs?
Well, he does have a win. That's at Finger Lakes in the breeder. He's a New York bred, by the way, by Adios Charlie. Is there anybody that can go with him early?
He's very quick.
He's 45 and change type speed. Maybe Donald's Creek. I'm trying to look at some other ones in here.
I don't think he's vulnerable.
Can anybody go with him, Gary?
I'm just looking back at the Funny Side Stakes.
That was the second
Clear
start
back
of his
in
career.
August.
Yeah.
That was against
6
New York Breds.
6.5 furlongs.
And they gelded him since then.
16-2.
He's gotten better as a gelding. Look at those 2 races.
Third race off the layoff. Larry Ravelli.
You have this, well,
Flo.
There's a lot to like. There is Dugout the
saying.
6. The 5 Dumpf, he faced and was second to a horse who's going to run in the Jockey Club Gold Cup
Olympic
tomorrow.
Village. There you go. There you go.
He's won 3 in a row, by
And
the
only
way.
lost to Tacitus, if you go back in the Tampa Bay Derby, by 4 lengths. Long Range Toddy by 3. Wow, the 5's got some decent form if you look at some of these.
Yeah, I thought
Three-year-olds
the
in there.
5, it's Mike Maker. I thought there were some intriguing things with the 5. And the 3 Frolic Moore cutting back from a mile to 16th. He was in the Grade 3 Indiana Derby
Yeah.
against Mr. Money. He's kept some tough company. He was on the Triple Crown Trail for a while.
War of Will, Owendale, Intrepid Heart, Mr. Money, you can name them all. The issue with him is their pace. He's the horse. I would say he's the horse to beat, but there's no pace to run with the 6. If somebody was able to run with the 6,
Yeah.
they'd all have to hold off the 3.
I mean, I don't see anybody that can get within 2 to 3 lengths of Dugout. Don't.
If somebody does, then Frolic Moore is going to be rolling late, the 3 on the cutback. It's just, I don't know if there's enough running. If this was 7 furlongs, maybe the 3. I mean, if somebody goes with the 6 early or a hiccup, the 3 will be rolling.
Miguel Mena on Dump. He's aggressive.
Yeah, I
First
guess so.
time on from Gafleon, who's also aggressive.
And we have another horse from the rail who was on the Triple Crown Trail for a while, ran in the Iroquois as a 2-year-old, ran in the Lecomte Risen Star as well. He hit the board in the Grade 3 Lecomte against War of Will. Now cutting back in distance for the first time in a while.
He's behind Improbable. Wow.
Last time he sprinted, he ran in the stake, the Sugar Bowl at Fairgrounds against multiple stakes winner Great Attempt.
It's a good field. I tell you what, this is a little mini stakes field, no?
There's no easy spots when they're giving this kind of money away.
You're right.
$100,000
Plus,
purse.
you get the $31,000 if you're a Kentucky bred. So if you're not a Kentucky bred and you're entering these races like Dugout, you got to be pretty confident to be a New York bred because you're not running for the $31,000. You're running for $60,000. All the rest are running for $99,000.
Everyone got to try and catch the 6. Dugout should have an easy lead all to himself. Let's go to Travis Stone for the call, 9th from Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off, and Dump for the good start at mid-pack. Bounces out on top. Dugout comes on the outside, and now Dugout comes up to take the lead. Dump right back at the inside, and these two speed off together. They're 3 lengths clear of Maniwa, who comes away 3rd. Where Paradise Lake cruises up into 4th, and that one's outside. Donnell's Creek is back running along in 5th. Uncle Chad, Dazzling Truths, and Frolic Moore is at the back. So Dugout has taken charge. Dugout to the front, dangling over toward the inside. Dump defers back 2nd. Where Paradise Lace sneaks up on the outside and is now 3rd. Frolic Moore with a move out of the far turn up into 4th within 2.5 lengths of the lead. Maniwa's right in the thick of it trying to find a seam. Donnell's Creek is also there. Dazzling Truths is wide and Uncle Chad is at the back. It is wide open at the top of the stretch where Paradise Lake coming after Dugout. Maniwa is there. Dump gives way. Frolic Moore is bottled up in behind. Donnell's Creek down the center of the track. Here's the 8th pole. Maniwa down the center of the track strikes the lead where Paradise Lake battles on. Dump has re-rallied. Dugout boxes on 2, but they're inside the final 16th, and Maniwa comes away with the lead and has won. 2.5 in the end. Dugout photos with Dump. Then it was Where Paradise Lay.
Rarely is it easy as it seems in here. Maniwa, Wayne Catalano, Channing Hill, and the son of Will take charge.
They sort of swooped him, right? Good job by Channing Hill to swoop these horses. And I think the 5 and the 6 battled it out here for second. They're battling out from the get-go. I got to give them credit for both hanging in there. It looks like the 6 might have got the bob there. It's very, very tight for second. The 3, Frolic Moore, sort of ran up with Lannery and then just sort of ran out of steam about right here. And then it turned into a great move by Channing Hill to get the horse 3 wide, Gary, and get him out of that sort of like pickle, I guess.
Yeah, he was in a good spot. I mean, saving ground and stuff, and then got him out of that spot to the outside. And dugout, give credit to him. I thought he was going to get beat 6-7 lengths coming into the stretch. And at one point he came back and made the lead just right at the 8th pole. And kept thinking he was going to just keep dropping back, and he fights on and maybe not really paying attention to his job like he should. But all credit to Wayne Catalano, Channing Hill.
And you got to pay attention to these conditions, because when they're entering these horses in for Kentucky breds, you look at the 2, Where Paradise Lay and Dugout. They were both 2 horses, one Maryland bred, one New York bred, that weren't running for the extra 30,000, and they ran well. And the 2 was right there at the wire. So you got to take these horses serious that are running in these conditions, because these other horses are running for more money. So I think that's a big key. Dugout ran giant there, and so did Where Paradise Lay.
Manny Waugh, though, last time sprinting, second in a stake, now gets the win in this group at 9-2. There is one more coming up from Churchill Downs, by the way. We're going to be going off the air here in a few moments, but you can head to NYRABets.com, catch what happens. Big weekend ahead, Jockey Club Gold Cup. Grade 1 winners, Vino Rosso, Preservationist, tackling the top 2 finishers from the Travers, including your winner, Code of Honor. We're going to have it for you live tomorrow. Imperial Hint, maybe the quickest horse in the country, or one of them, coming off that 114 buyer. But this is the main event in Code of Honor. Dwyer winner. Winner of the Travers, 8-5 morning line favorite. And Shug McGay, he said, passed on the Penn Derby because he knows he likes Belmont Park.
Well, and I think he also likes a 1.25 miles, and he wants to keep him at the 1.25 miles right now. And watch what the ease that he actually wins this race with. Very rarely you see a jockey at that point in the race, if it's going to be close, reach up and pull their goggles down. Johnny very casually reached up, pulled his goggles down. It's $1 million and change dollar race, and he won that race very easy, and he's improved like Shug thought he was going to from the beginning of this spring. He said he's immature, he was a late foal, and he's going to continue to improve, and we've got to see that improvement.
He got a little bit immature at the end of that race. He swapped back to his wrong lead, so there might be some more left in the tank. That's scary.
Compact field, I know. McKinsey's running out in the other coast this weekend. Winner of this race, depending on who it is, maybe if it's Code of Honor or what McKinsey does, could determine who's your favorite in Breeders' Cup Classic.
Oh, I think so. But I think that if McKinsey wins with authority, that he will be a solid favorite.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that he can walk out of his own backyard over to the paddock, and he knows that racetrack. He's used to the racetrack, and he's an older horse.
We're back tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 2, 3:30 Eastern on MSG+. It was Dupe's Points. Finally getting to the wire first on dirt. Didn't seem to want to win all that much. Got the job done with some reminders from Junior Alvarado and mentality. Dylan Davis with another multiple win day. We will see you tomorrow on Super Saturday here at the Belmont Fall Meet.